Hello! Welcome! It's day 3 of Sonic Month, in case you didn't know. How are we all doing tonight? Homer, Gwen, hello. Ashley, Ryan, hello, welcome to the chat. Okay, right. We'll get that little bit of music turned down. Oh, it's nearly finished anyway, it'll fade itself out. Right then, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're opening with the bonus content today, because I've got a special guest with me. Today, we're going to be playing, later on this evening, Sonic Eraser. So, earmuffs at the ready, is all I can say to that. But before that, we're going to try something a little different tonight. We're going to be playing a game of a different kind. We're going to be working our way through Metal City Mayhem, which is a choose-your-own-adventure Sonic book, as you can see. But to do that, I need a little bit of assistance, so I'm just going to start this call and we'll see what happens. Skype noises. Hello? Oh. Hello, hello? Oh no, I can't hear. It's gone horribly wrong. I knew we should have tested this before we started. One moment. Let's open the old sound mixer there. Technical difficulties. No, that's just plain not showing. Okay, we'll jump on the old... oh. I'm going to jump into the settings. Don't trust Discord for anything. Oh, how's that? Are you there? Hello! Hello! Almost certainly. Right, I'm just going to turn you up a little bit for the purpose of the chat. Oh, of course, something's always got to go wrong. As Homer just said in chat, it's practically a tradition for things to go wrong. So, for the purpose of people that don't know the voice of my good friend, this is Nanadouken. Hello. Nana is one of those German people you've heard so much about. Nothing, no, it's fine, I'm sure you're fine. So, you aren't, like, the most Sonic-y person, right? You kind of got into Sonic through your partner Shay, right?
Yeah, for Shay. And I did some help for Sonic the Comic Online, just coloring stuff, but other than that, I'm a complete noob into the site.
Excellent. So, hopefully then, you're not going to get Sonic killed too many times as we play through this tonight.
I'm going to be honest, I kind of want to kill him every chance I get.
Of course you do. It sounds like
I
it.
just want to see what happens.
Just before we jump in, chat, how's the volume sound? Are we all good? Fingers crossed? The fingers are crossed.
Actually just hang on, I'll...
Oop.
No, I'm overcomplicating this.
Oh no. We love overcompleting things.
If nobody's complaining, it'll be fine.
That's usually the way it goes.
Yeah.
A little bit quiet, right, so let's see, can I turn you up at all?
If you right click on my icon in Discord, you should be able to slide the volume.
Oh, look at that. Okay, I've got you on 163% now, how's that sound?
I'm going to start screaming.
Oh my god.
Am I actually loud?
How's that sound in chat, all good? Dual screening again, got the laptop over here.
You look really nervous.
I am nervous! I'm a very nervous person. Sounds good, excellent, right. Okay then, so. A little bit of backstory there. There are 6 Sonic Adventure Gamebooks available in the 1990s. Well, I say available in the 1990s, that's not much use unless you've got a time machine, is it? So this one came out in 1993. It's the first one of 6. widely considered to be one of the better ones in the series. You're in for a good one tonight, Nana. It is a choose-your-own-adventure book. There are 300 sections in the book. You start at, obviously if you don't know how a choose-your-own-adventure book works, you start at section 1, you want to get to section 300 because that's where the good ending is, but you don't read it linearly. Depending on what you choose to do, we'll be going all over the place, flipping back and forth and having lots of wonderful fun adventures with Sonic, the world's most famous hedgehog. Aren't you excited?
I'm so excited.
I
really am excited.
I believe it. I really believe it.
Oh my god.
Okay, before we start though, I'm going to need a little bit of input from you. Because there is, believe it or not, a stat system in this game. Sonic has vital statistics, you know.
That's like, oh my god, okay. We're going to level Sonic.
We're going to level Sonic. Right, Sonic has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 special skills. And it's up to you to decide what is the most important of those skills, working downwards. And we're going to, where are we? We'll put it up on the screen. There we go. We've got Sonic's stats on the screen there. So we've got speed, strength, agility, coolness, quick wits, and good looks. Handsome hedgehog. He's got...
Coolness is obviously the most important.
Okay, right, so that is... Where are we? That's going to therefore give you a score of 5 in coolness. Okay, so what do we think after that?
I think good looks is the second most important.
As in real life.
I'm just going to get Sonic killed, I'm so sorry.
To be honest, there's really not any one particular good build for this, I don't think. You can play it any way you like, really.
Okay.
There's... the way it's sort of summed up on the page, there's kind of like good and bad aspects to each of the stats, so... Yeah. What do we think for the next one, then?
So we've got coolness, good looks, what's the next most useless sounding one? I guess strength, because that was never really Sonic's, like, strong suit or whatever.
Exactly, yeah, that's more of a Knuckles thing. So you'll be delighted to know that gets you a 3 there, and all of his other stats that are left are now worth 2 points. So Sonic, the world's fastest hedgehog, has a 2 for speed.
He's the coolest hedgehog now.
He's super cool though, he's very cool. Obviously, as we know, all good Sonic games, you start with 3 lives, so he has 3 lives. You are going to have to kill him 3 times if you want to bump him off during the course of the night. You can collect rings. If he gets 100 rings, then you get an extra life.
Oh.
Currently, we do not have any hits on Dr. Robotnik's Egg-O-Matic.
Oh, is that the boss that we got to defeat?
Yeah, that's kind of optional. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do there. I'm going to add another little another line in there because it's just cutting it off at the edge of the screen there. So I'll put a little 0 in this box here, and then we can keep track. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you didn't know you were getting this kind of professional outfit here tonight. You thought we were just going to play that dreadful puzzle game, didn't you? Alrighty.
Oh yeah, you're playing that later, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh god. Protect my poor ears. Holmes says he wishes he had a 5 in coolness. I do as well, to be honest. I'm somewhere like a -17. Gwen suggests it can't be emphasised enough. You've got to go fast, but I think Sonic is going to be limited in his fastness here tonight.
My goal isn't to defeat Robotnik. I think my goal for this run is to get Sonic a girlfriend or something. That's what this build is looking like.
I'm not gonna lie. If you can get Sonic a girlfriend in this book, you've done well.
Okay.
Not very many options there. So you start with 3 items. You can pick up extra items throughout the course of the game, and we'll keep a track on the screen. You start with Sonic's signature red trainers, of course. Sonic has his Sega Game Gear. And in that Game Gear, he has a cartridge of a game called Botman.
What's that?
Oh, what indeed. So, are you ready to jump into the game?
Yes. Let's go.
Gosh, this is exciting. Alright. we've got a little picture of Sonic on his Game Gear. What more could you want?
Oh, he's so cute.
It's pretty cute. This is a Sonic Labyrinth adventure. One of them has you go through the labyrinth zone, so yeah, but we'll be doing lots of looping back around when we get to that book later on. So then, let's start. It's a quiet afternoon in the Green Hill Zone. The only sounds are the breezes rustling the leaves of the trees, the splashing of the waterfalls, some strange clanking noises in the distance, and a series of small electronic bleeps, crashes and explosions as Sonic the Hedgehog sits on a rock playing Botman on his Sega Game Gear. He borrowed the Botman cartridge from his piggy friend Porker Lewis this morning, and he's been playing it all day without a break. He's almost finished it as well, except that he just can't work out how to beat the huge Technobot at the end of level 6. Whatever he tries, the Technobot stomps on him every time. Eventually, Sonic's stomach rumbles, and he realises that he hasn't eaten since breakfast. He's a gamer. He switches the Game Gear off, grabs a burger with large fries from his metal sandwich box and tucks in. 5 minutes later, he's finished, but hasn't come up with any good ideas about the Technobot except for one, asking Porker Lewis what to do. Porker's the only one in the Green Hill Zone who's finished the game. It took him 6 weeks. Pig trotters aren't too good for controlling a Game Gear, but he did it in the end, and that means he must have beaten the Technobot. Sonic is almost too proud to go and ask his friend's advice, but Porker is a good friend, and besides, it's only a video game, it's not the end of the world. Sonic stands up, puts his Game Gear in his sandwich box, and sprints off through the Green Hill Zone to look for Porker. The zone is still littered with a lot of the junk that Dr. Ivo Robotnik left here after the last time he tried to take over the world, but the spikes, springs, smashed robots and traps are all rusting and falling apart, with grass and bushes growing over them. The place is a mess, but it's Sonic's home and he's fond of it. There's no sign of Porker anywhere. As Sonic stops and looks around him, he realises that he can't see any of his other friends either. The whole zone seems deserted and silent, with no bird song or sounds of animals at play. Even the waterfalls seem quieter, and strangest of all, the background music has stopped completely. It's very eerie, and Sonic begins to get an uncomfortable, prickly feeling down the back that has nothing to do with his spikes. He comes around the edge of one of the cliffs, and stops. In front of him is a scene of destruction. Trees have been uprooted, bridges smashed, and huge scars carved into the earth. And still there's no sign of anyone, or any movement. What's going on? Sonic turns around and looks out of the pages of the book straight at you. "Hey pal," he says, "it's good to see you. You're supposed to be the one with the bright ideas around here. What do you think I should do?" So, first choice of the game then. Do you think Sonic should search the torn up area for a clue about where his friends might be? Do you think he should find some of Dr. Robotnik's old devices and try to use those to help him? Or do you think he should stop rushing around and spend a while thinking about the problem? What do we reckon?
I mean, let me think what the worst option would be. Seeing as I have a 2 in quick wit, so maybe I should instead run and think. I'm not sure if there's like skill checks in the game, like Vegas.
For some of the combat there is, and some of the other sequences, but you're not gonna. It's not gonna be like constantly bombarding you.
Okay, I think the second option sounds the most fun.
We get going for some of Robotnik's old devices.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Home says the Game Gear requires 16 batteries for a 20-minute charge. Piece of shit. Awful machine. Sonic hunts around. A lot of the equipment has been destroyed or rusted away since Robotnik last tried to take over the world of Mobius. But there are still 1 or 2 items that work, if Sonic can find them. After a few minutes, he found a spring hidden in the fronds of a palm tree, and one of Robotnik's computer screens built and installed around the zones in the days when he was still the meek and kindly Dr. Ovi Kinterbor. Sonic knows that many of these computers contain hidden items, which may help him in his adventure. So, do you think Sonic should jump on the spring, catapulting him high into the air, or do you think he should look at the computer screen?
Look at the computer screen.
Alrighty. Sonic wipes the mud from the computer screen. It seems to be working and is actually turned on. It's humming and there are words on the screen. Sonic bends to read them. Enter your password. So do we want Sonic to try a password, or do we want him to smash the computer and get whatever is inside?
Those are my only 2 reactions.
Those are your only 2 options. Try a password or smash the damn thing.
I don't think we're going to pull the password out of thin air, huh? Let's smash it.
Smash it? 255. What prizes await? Sonic backs off a few paces, runs up, jumps, and spins in the air, bouncing precisely off the top of the computer. It goes foot, and blows up in a shower of sparks. Inside are 10 glittering gold rings. Sonic takes them and wonders what to do now. Right, let's add your rings to your score. There we are, we got 10 rings up on the board now.
That's so worth it. The information that we would have got with the password was nowhere near.
Do you think Sonic should search the wrecked part of the zone? Do you think he should use the spring? Or do you think he ought to sit down and think about things?
I think let's use the spring and
use
see
the
what
spring.
happens.
Alrighty. Sonic knocks the spring down from the tree, takes a running leap at it, and is fired high into the sky like a streak of blue lightning. He soars way above the level of the trees, and as he reaches the top of his jump, twists to look all around him. The zone is deserted, there's no sign of anyone. The churned up area stretches to the north, and at the edge of the horizon, Sonic just glimpses a flash as the sunlight reflects off something metallic. Then gravity catches him and pulls him down. Wait, what was that? Something in the wreckage? Sonic aims for the spring and is fired back into the air. Yes, he did see something. It's Tails, battling with 2 bronze egg-shaped robots. He's putting up quite a fight, but the robots are tough foes. Sonic thinks about shouting to his friend, but decides not to. Instead, he lands beside the spring and wonders about his next move. So should Sonic go and help Tails, or search around the rest of the wrecked area?
I'm sure Tails will be fine. Let's search the rest of the area.
Okay. Sonic has never seen any part of the zone damaged this badly before, not even during Robotnik's last takeover attempt. Something has really torn it up. Everything is wrecked, smashed branches and broken trees, huge clods of earth and rocks pounded into gravel and mud. Trodden into the dirt is a single gold ring. Sonic scrapes the mud off it and puts it in his pocket, so that gives you another ring.
Yay. So you only have 11.
We have 11. Then he notices that whatever has trodden down the ring has left a large square footprint in the earth. There's a trail of them heading north. So, do you think Sonic should follow the footprints, or stop and think about things for a while?
Can I not go to Tails anymore?
That is the first option now. That takes you to the same page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that then.
Alrighty. That was your tutorial section, by the way. How are you feeling so far?
I feel like if we smash the computer, I feel good so far.
Feeling good. Alright, well, we've got a little illustration. So these are the horrible, nasty, eggy robots that have taken poor little Tails.
Oh, they're so cute though.
Tails is having a bad old time.
Tails is like, what's happening?
Sonic sprints northwards along the trail of devastation. Soon he hears the sound of a familiar voice calling, "Help! Anyone? Help me!" mixed with clanks and thuds. It's Miles Prower, better known as Miles the Fox, or Tails to his friends, and it sounds like he's in trouble. Sonic slows down and watches from behind a rock to see what's going on. 2 bronze robots are holding the fox up by his twin tails, and poor Tails is swinging between them, trying to thump their metal bodies and shouting for help. Sonic knows he has to help his buddy, but he's not sure how. Do you think he should attack the robots with a supersonic spin attack, shout to distract them, or follow the robots and their captive to see where they're going?
That's a tough one. Let's follow them.
Follow them? Okay. The robots head north, towards a huge construction on the horizon. Sonic isn't sure what it is, but it gleams in the afternoon sunlight. The robots are aiming straight for it, ploughing through every obstacle that gets in their way. Poor Tails is having a hard time. The robots are letting his head bump along the ground, bouncing off rocks, and dragging him through bushes and streams so much that he howls with pain and anger. "They can't treat my buddy that way," mutters Sonic. He's ready for a fight. So, do you want to attack the robots, or watch where they're going for a little while longer?
No, attack them, but if they do that to Tails, if they knock him off the rocks and stuff on the floor, that sounds really bad.
We can't have Tails die horribly.
No.
Okay. Sonic realizes there's no time to waste, and rushes straight into the fight, leaping into the air and rolling himself into a whirling blur of spikes for a supersonic spin attack. These robots each have a rating of 5, and Sonic will be using his speed ability to fight them. Tails is too exhausted to help. Sonic has a 2 in speed, as you decide. So, do you have a random dice roll thing you can access, like on Google or something?
Let me. Dice
We got combat.
roll.
So, if the result, you've got to roll 1 die.
Okay, I'm gonna roll it.
Okay. What do we got?
We've got a 4.
Got a 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6. If the result is 5 or more, the first robot is smashed. Well done.
Nice.
Doodaloo. Once Sonic has defeated the first robot, he must attack the second one in the same way. So give us another roll.
Okay. A 5.
5, there we go, that's done it. So obviously in combat you can lose your rings, you can lose a life, and that'll obviously determine where you go later on with those sort of things. But you've done alright there. So both robots are beaten, turn to 222. If you get 100 rings, do you earn an extra life? Yes, you do, Homer. They thought about it. They made it extra gamey for the gamers, the true Sonic gamers out there. The second robot explodes in a shower of diodes and bits of printed circuits. Sonic stands in the wreckage looking at it. That's odd, he thinks. Robotnik usually traps living creatures inside his robots, but these ones were machines. That means I don't have to be so careful next time I smash some. Tails groans from the puddle where the robots dropped him. He's looking very muddy and sorry for himself. Sonic can either talk to him or search the bits of the destroyed robots. What do we reckon?
I should probably talk to him because he doesn't seem to be in a good mood.
He's not having a good day, the poor lad. Sonic looked down at his muddy pal. How are you, muddy pal? He asks. Tails groans and stands up. I'm okay, I think, he replies. Thanks for saving me. You're a true friend. Sonic isn't the blushing type. No problem, he says. When you've saved the planet Mobius as often as I have, rescuing a pal is everyday stuff. So where were the robots taking you? Tails squeezes the mud from his tails and fluffs them back into shape. They were heading north, towards that new city you've heard about. Sonic is puzzled by this, because he hasn't heard about any new city. So he can ask Tails to tell him more about it, search the wreckage of the robots, or decide there's no time to waste and head north now.
Let's search the robots.
Search the robots. Do-do-do-do. Sonic looks around the wreckage. Broken circuits, damaged devices, twisted wires. Wait, what's that? It looks like a game cartridge for a Game Gear. But the only word printed on it is Blitzkrieg. Sonic knows that a Blitzkrieg is a very sudden attack, but the odd spelling puzzles him. He can pocket the cartridge and talk to Tails, or see what happens if he puts it in his Game Gear. So do we want to keep the cartridge or put it in the Game Gear? What do we reckon?
Is it gonna dock Sonic if he puts it in the game? Let's put it in and see what happens.
Okay. Sonic takes the Botman cartridge from his Game Gear and slides in the new one. It's a tight fit, and for a second he's worried about switching the device on, but he does it anyway. The screen fills with words. It's not a game. It looks like the listing of a computer program. There isn't very much to it. Search zone, find target. If target equals hedgehog, then destroy target. If target equals animal, then get target. Store target, return. If target is not animal, then delete. Repeat until target equals 0. Next zone, end. Sonic thinks he understands what it means, but he's not sure. And we've already done the other option, so we're straight to the going north to the city now.
Alright.
So we're already on the third part of the story. You are kicking this game's ass.
Who would have guessed that it doesn't matter how bad you start out, it's still gambling.
You've got luck on your side. We've got another little drawing. We've got a picture of Robotropolis. Not to be confused with the location from the cartoon, of course. A big door.
That's so cute.
He's a proper chubby little Sonic, isn't he?
Yeah.
The city walls are made of a gleaming silvery metal. They're not straight, but at a slight angle. Set into them are 2 huge steel doors. Each door is 30 times the height of Sonic or Tails, and they're firmly shut. Above the doors is a massive sign which announces Robotropolis, abandon hope all ye who enter here, and that goes double for hedgehogs. There is no obvious way in, but next to the doors is a slot like the ones in the chests of the robots that kidnap Tails. Sonic and Tails can try to sprint up the city walls, they can try to burrow under the foundations, they can plug a cartridge into the slot beside the door, or they can knock on the doors. What do we reckon?
What cartridge? Because you only have the 2 cartridges, right?
Yeah, in fact, I tell you what, we'll add the other one we picked up. I didn't add that too. So we've got the Blitzkrieg egg.
What a name.
Oh, Robotnik, you eggy man. So we've got the actual Game Gear game, or we have the Blitzkrieg one. Or you can try going up, you can try going down, or you can try knocking on the door. What do we think?
I kind of want to see what happens if we put the Botman cartridge in.
Okay. Right. Sonic examines the slot. It looks as if a Game Gear cartridge, or possibly the cartridges the robots had in their chests, would fit into it. But there's no telling what it would do. If you want, do you want Sonic to put the Botman cartridge in the slot, or the Blitzkrieg cartridge, or you can try the other options?
I'm gonna try putting the Botman.
I'll try putting Botman in. Okay. Sonic presses the Botman cartridge into the slot. For a second, nothing happens. Then the Botman theme music starts playing. A bit wobbly and unsteady for a moment, then it gets louder and stronger. A thin wisp of smoke comes from the cartridge.
Oh no.
You need to give a dice roll against Sonic's quick wits.
No. I just remembered that Lewis borrowed that to Sonic. It's not Sonic. Oops. Okay. We got a 4, I think.
You've got a 4?
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, you've not beaten the score required.
Oh no!
The cartridge catches fire, jamming the slot with melted plastic and circuitry. And we now have to remove it from our list.
Oh no!
You've broken Porker's game.
As if Lewis didn't go through enough already. Now Sonic's just melted his game.
Oh, the Rain 5136. Thank you for the £5 donation. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Right.
I feel so bad.
We'll have to put that £5 towards buying Porker a new game.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just, yeah.
So the cartridge slot is now jammed and we can't try any of the others in it as a result. So we can either knock on the doors, dig under the walls, or run up the walls. What do we think?
Let's try knocking.
We're knocking on the doors. Alrighty. 279. Sonic hammers on the doors. One of them opens just enough for a robotic eye on a stalk to peer out. Intruders? Rumbles a voice from inside. The eye spots Sonic and Tails. Intruders! Intruders! The door opens further and 3 bronze robots rush out, each with a cartridge reading "Eggs Terminate" implanted in their chest. They look ready for a fight. Oh dear.
Oh no!
Oh, no. Roll against Sonic's... Oh, actually, right, you've got a choice here.
Okay.
Do you want to fight them or do you want to try and evade them?
Let's try it. I think I got away lucky last time with the dice, so let's try evading them.
You want to try evading them? Right. You give it a dice roll then. You need to roll against Sonic's agility, which has a 2 in it. You're going to need a 6 or nothing else is going to beat this 7.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, this dice rolling app was kind of, I don't know. I'm going to try another one real quick.
Okay.
Because I just rolled a 6 and I was like,
Oh, hey, no, 6s are good. You've got a 1 in 6 chance.
Okay, I got a 2 on the other one.
I am willing to accept your original score of 6. Which would just...
I feel like I'm, not getting punished for playing this game a bit not smart.
Let's see. You've got... Oh, right, okay. You'd have a better chance of beating them in a fight if you want to give them a fight. It's up to you. We can take the 6 and dodge past them, or we can take the 2 and fight them. What do you want to do?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The 3 robots have a rating of 7, and Sonic must use his strength rating to fight them. Luckily, Tails will join in on Sonic's side, which means he can add an extra 3 points to his strength for this fight. So you've got a 6 in strength for this one, and so basically anything that's a 2 or above, you're going to win. So give us a dice roll, see what we get.
Let's see. I've got a 2.
That'll do. Give us another one.
Another one? Okay. A 6.
Alrighty, so we've got 1 left, and give us one more roll.
A 3.
Nice one. So, Sonic and Tails beat the Guardbots. Sonic is able to grab one of their cartridges, Exterminate, before the 2 heroes dash into the city. So let's add Exterminate to the list there. Marvellous. Turn to section 30.
I feel like I really screwed myself over melting that cartridge in the
We have some very confused heroes here.
Aww, they're so cute.
Proper adorable, aren't they? The 2 animals sprint into the city, and the huge gates clash shut behind them. Like it or not, they're stuck inside. Sonic isn't quite sure what he's looking at. At first glance, it seems to be a huge city, or possibly a huge machine, or both at the same time. There are massive buildings that might be machines, and massive machines that might be buildings. There are structures and girders and devices and scaffolding and cogs and gears and beams and levers and conveyor belts and cranes and flashing lights and pulleys and hooks and the smells of molten metal and hot tar and wet cement and the sounds of clanging and thumping and grinding and digging and welding and scraping. That was all one sentence. Bronze robots scurry to and fro, carrying oddly shaped bits of metal that are grabbed by cranes and fitted into the new buildings, or new machines. Sonic can't tell. The robots ignore the Hedgehog and Fox, who watch the chaos and confusion with astonished eyes. Wow, breathes Sonic. Definitely, agrees Tails. Sonic tries to read the words on some of the robots' program cartridges. They seem to be a complete mixture, ranging from excavate through exchange to legit. One particularly funky robot seems to have a reggae cartridge, but Sonic isn't sure whether he read that right. Hey look, shouts Tails, that one's got your name on it. Sonic follows his friend's pointing finger and sees a large silver robot with a cartridge marked Hedgehog. It looks menacing, and it's coming towards the animals. Other silver robots are following it. Should Sonic and Tails stand and fight or run away?
Let's run, that sounds bad.
We don't want to be attacked by an evil Hedgehog.
Hedgehog. Is that metal Sonic? No.
Just a generic silver robot, I think. Sonic and Tails zoom away from the silver robots, who speed up to follow. They're fast, and they know the layout of the city, whereas the fleeing friend don't. Several times the duo turn a corner to find a pack of silver robots waiting for them, and several times they're almost caught. Finally, with a pack of pursuers right behind him, they duck into an alleyway, only to find that it's a dead end. Sonic screeches to a halt and looks at Tails. Well, old pal, he says, stepping backwards, this looks like it's the end. The ground has opened under him, and he and Tails are plummeting down a long, twisting tube made of smooth metal. After a fall that seems like it lasts for half a minute, because it does, Sonic hits the floor first and Tails bounces off his back. They are in a dark cell. It's not giving me any options, it's just telling me to change. Oh! The look of sheer confusion on their faces.
They look so adorable.
The cell is damp, dark, and smells of old socks. It obviously hasn't been used for a while. A little light filters down from the hole in the ceiling, but otherwise the cell is unlit. There doesn't seem to be anything around. Sonic and Tails can search the room, or they can try to get back out the way they came in. Alternatively, you can examine the Exterminate cartridge.
Let's search the room.
Okay. 158. Searching the cell doesn't take long. It's completely empty. But in the darkest corner is a narrow tunnel that looks as if something has chewed through the metal walls. Sonic and Tails can explore it, try to get out through the hole in the ceiling, or exterminate the cartridge. Exterminate the cartridge? Examine the cartridge!
Let's look at the cartridge and then maybe go through the whole.
Okay. Sonic plugs the Exterminate cartridge into his Game Gear and switches on. The screen doesn't show any title sequence or game, just a short computer program. It's pretty simple. Find target. If target equals robot, then ignore. If target is not robot, then go to target and delete target. That looks pretty simple, Tails says, reading over Sonic's shoulder. Yeah, says Sonic, but pretty hard to beat, and silver robots look like they're better fighters than the bronze ones. We better watch out. So do you want to try and climb back up the metal chute, or head through the narrow tunnel?
Let's go through the narrow tunnel.
Alrighty. 135. I'll lead, Sonic says boldly, and crouches to enter the tunnel. Once inside, the roof gets higher and the two can walk along comfortably, although it's almost totally dark. Something clanks ahead of them. "Robots," whispers Sonic. "You chill here, I'll attack." He didn't sound like a robot, whispers Tails. He sounded like, well, just metal. It could be a friend of ours. "Nothing metal's a friend of mine," snaps Sonic. "Why not shout something before you attack?" Tails suggests. So do you think Sonic is right, or do you think Tails is right? These are the options we've got.
I'm going to trust Tails, because I like Tails.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad, is Tails. Sonic thinks that calling a warning down the tunnel is soft, but he does it anyway. "Yo," he bellows. "If you're a creature, we won't beat you. If you're a bot, you've had your lot." "Yo," comes echoing back up the tunnel. "I'm the rat, and that's a fact, so don't attack or I'll fight back. You're in my home with its walls of chrome, so tell me swiftly, are you friend or enemy?" Sonic turns to Tails. "We've met a bad poet," he says. "I'm a rapper, not a poet," shouts the voice, "and my name's Boombox, the steel-plated rat. Good to meet you, excellent dudes." As he approaches, Sonic and Tails see that he's wearing bits of robot armour, which clank as he walks. Sonic and Tails tell Boombox why they're in the city, and he takes them to his hideout deep in a maze of tunnels which he's dug across the city. The hideout is lined with things that Boombox has found, and he tells the two adventurous animals to take anything they can use. Sonic and Tails can take a total of 3 items between them. They can choose from the following: a cartridge with Pterodactyl written on it, 6 rings, some candy bars, only a little bit chewed, says Boombox, a power-up shield, which lets you ignore one hit from an enemy, some armour made of robot parts, which means enemies have to roll above 12 to hit Sonic if he takes this, a comb, which boosts your coolness and good looks rating by 1 point, or a computer with a blank screen. I don't know what's in that, says Boombox. So, you can take any 3 of those. So you've got the pterodactyl cartridge, 6 rings, candy bars, shield, armour, a comb, or a blank screen computer. What do we think?
That's not the shield. That sounds like a good choice.
That is absolute good choice, I think. Shield.
I'm not sure if we're going to get to use the pterodactyl cartridge, because we kind of clogged that one slot with the cartridge. I'm not sure if anything else comes up. The armor isn't like weighing them down or anything, no?
No, it doesn't affect anything else. It just improves your... It says here enemies have to roll above a 12 to hit Sonic if he takes this, so... That's obviously going to that's going to stop you from getting hit, I would have thought. That and the shield.
Yeah, let's take the armor and shield.
Okay. Oops. Oh no. Oh no, I put the wrong thing on. Armor. Enemies must roll 12 to hit. I'm just making a note there, otherwise I will forget.
Me too.
So you've got one more item you can choose from. You can take the pterodactyl cartridge, 6 rings, candy bars, the comb, or the computer.
I'm kind of torn between the candy and the computer. Because like the candy, I don't know, I want to give it to Tails, but I don't think that's going to happen. What would you take?
It does say if you take the cartridge or the blank screen, it does give you an extra option for something else. So whether that sort of leads you towards the computer.
Okay, let's take the computer.
Okay. Gwen says this was definitely written in the 90s, and Homer says the rat is full of tude, and I agree. A cool dude with attitude. Right, so, where are we? Blank computer. Right, so we're going to turn to page 295 and see what that says. Sonic cracks the monitor open and finds an extra life.
Oh!
Good stuff, so I'll add that to your tally. Marvellous. Right then, so now we get to ask Boombox some questions, and your options are the following. Why are you here? Have you seen our friends? Who's running the city? And why are you wearing the robot armour?
I want to ask about the robot armor.
Okay, 26. Why are you wearing that armour? Asks Tails. Hey, the armour's cool. It's the latest thing from the fashion victim zone. Everybody will be wearing it next year, says Boombox laughing. Seriously, dude, the robots are programmed to ignore anything that looks like another robot. It's as if you're not there. You can't be completely safe in this city, but this helps a lot. If you see some armour, my advice is to pick it up. And indeed, you already have, so there we go. So, what do the two animals ask now? What are you doing in the city? Have you seen our friends? Who's running the city?
Have you seen our friends?
Okay, 106. Your friends? You mean other animals from outside, like you, says Boombox. I've seen one or two, but the robots have got them all. I don't know why. Do not meddle in the ways of robots, as my old dad used to say, for they are subtle and quick on the draw. Come to think of it, I know where one of them is, a rabbit. He's trapped in the same room as my girlfriend Dancer. Could you help me free her? So, we can either agree to help him, we can continue questioning him, asking why he's in the city, or who's running the city.
We agree, of course.
Of course. Like a true hero.
That was very casual how you brought up Dennis' girlfriends.
It's like, oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way, if it's not too much trouble, would you mind, you don't have to go off your name, but just, if you see my girlfriend, can you, help her?
And not just that, but she is, about to be killed.
Yeah, she's about to turn into a mindless robot. Oh my god! She's so happy!
Look how thrilled Johnny is. He's just delighted to be there. The three set off down one of Boombox's tunnels, with Sonic and Tails following the rat. The tunnel twists and turns and finally ends at an opening high in the wall of a large room. Boombox, the first to look into the room, gasps aloud. They're in there, he says, but the machine's started, so you'll have to work fast or they'll be mangled. Sonic and Tails look through the opening. The room is filled with a huge machine with whirring gears, moving conveyor belts and thumping jackhammers. Tied to one of the belts are two animals, their friend Johnny Lightfoot the rabbit and a female rat. Both are shrieking in terror, that's not what the picture shows, as the belt moves towards the gaping mouth of the machine, which is making a hideous grinding noise. Suspended from the ceiling is a large grapple, which is moving to and fro across the room, picking up objects and moving them around. There is also a loading platform on the floor between Boombox's hole and the machine. Sonic can jump down onto the floor, onto the grapple, onto the loading platform, or he can ask Boombox if he should know anything about the room.
I feel like if we ask Boombox, he's just gonna be like, what's your problem? Just get on it. But let's ask him. Let's see if there's any insight.
Okay. What should I know about this room? Asks Sonic. The floor's electrified, says Boombox. That's why I haven't... See, that was a good move. You were right to ask. You were right to ask. That's why I haven't rescued Dancer or your friend. Stay off the floor. Sonic can ignore his friend's advice and jump down onto the floor. He can jump to the platform in the middle of the room or onto the swinging grapple. What do we think?
I really want to see what happens if I jump on the floor. But also, I think that would just waste one of my shields or something, right?
That, if indeed he is correct on this matter, you would lose the shield.
Okay, I'll jump on the what was it, the grappling?
You grapple? Okay.
Yeah, that's one.
219, where are we? Without
Wait, the floor was electrified.
By By the way, instant death. Without hesitating, Sonic leaps for the grapple as it glides towards the huge machine. It's a beautiful jump, perfectly timed, and he grabs the claws of the device as they swing past. No problem. Now Sonic can either smash the grapple or hang on to it. What say you?
Hang on to it, because if he smashes it, he'll just fall on the floor.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to have him hang on to it?
Yeah.
Okay. The grapple grabs Sonic, lifts him up and carries him across the room. He's wriggling frantically, but nothing he does will release the machine's tenacious grip. The grapple carries him to a funnel on top of the machine and drops him in. It's dark inside the machine and the noise is deafening. Sonic is pushed, poked and buffeted by bits of metal and cogs until he almost forgets who he is. Hedgehogs don't normally stand for this sort of treatment. Does Sonic burst out of the machine with a supersonic spin attack, or does he wait to see what happens?
You can't give me these amazing choices for possible disaster and not, like, use them. Let's see what happens.
See what happens, okay. Suddenly, the bashing and pushing stops. Sonic is stuck in a very small space, which is moving slowly along. By twisting his head, the hedgehog can just see out of a slit in the side of the casing. Whatever he's in is outside the machine, and he can see two robots standing under the hole in the wall, trying to get to the hole where Tails and Boombox are. One looks suspiciously like Johnny Lightfoot, the other is like Dancer, only covered with spikes and rivets. "Oh no," he hears Tails shout. "Where did those three robots come from?" 3 robots? 3 robots? Sonic realises in a flash that he must be trapped inside a robot casing as well. He curls into a ball, spins like a whirlwind, and the robot shell around him explodes into 1,000 pieces, ricocheting off the walls, the remains of the machine, and off the other 2 robots, which turn and stagger toward him. Sonic must fight both robots one at a time using his speed ability, which you've given a score of 2. Dancer has a score of 7 and Johnny has a score of 6. So, give us a roll.
Okay.
You got to beat a 7.
I got 1.
Oh no! Well, that's your shield gone. We can get rid of that.
Okay. Well, that's bad.
Okay, give us another roll.
Then I'll be another 1. It's another 1. Are you joking? Well.
Well, now you have no rings.
Oh my god!
Okay, give us another roll.
This is another 1. Okay, it's a 3.
3, 4, 5. You have lost a life.
Oh god!
And it's telling us to go back a little bit. Where's it going to put us? Okay, I'm going to move you a little bit further forward than that because we'll just go around in circles otherwise.
Okay, well, I'll just lose all my life.
Okay, back inside the machine. Do you want to burst out of it this time, or do you want a repeat of last time?
I want to burst out of it, right?
Maybe.
That thing was bad choice.
Okay. Sonic... Oh no, you're not going to like this.
Oh no!
Sonic revs up and up. At last he lets go and rips through the machine like a loose cannonball, speeding through it as if it was candy floss. Finally, he smashes through the side, landing on the platform in the middle of the room. Behind him, the machine explodes in a cloud of bad-smelling smoke. 5 rings fly out and Sonic catches them, so we'll add those to your score. The conveyor belt has stopped and Boombox's friend Dancer is still on it, but Johnny Lightfoot has been swallowed by the machine. Sonic feels a lump in his throat at the thought of his friend's horrible fate. Suddenly there's another crash from the defunct machine and a bronze robot smashes its way out. It looks just like Johnny Lightfoot might if he'd been encased entirely in robot armour with spikes on it. The Rabbot dashes towards Sonic at high speed, fists raised. It's a fight! Sonic must fight the Rabbot using his strength. So give us another dice roll.
Okay.
And you've got no bonus from Tails this time because Tails is watching from the hole in the wall.
I got a 5.
5.
Another 1, thank god.
5 plus 3 is 8, and that beats the score of 6. So there we go. You have successfully done a fight. GG. Sonic delivers a final knockout punch, the robot casing falls apart, and the animal inside is released, none the worse for its experience. Boombox is reunited with Dancer, and Johnny is very relieved to see Sonic and Tails. I got a chance to see some of the city before they carried me to the machine, he says. Is there anything I can tell you? Sonic and Tails can ask him about their other friends, who's running the city, or whether he knows how to get past the big robot in Botman.
Well, the Botman cartridge is gone. I don't think what happened with it. Or maybe there is?
It's up to you.
Let's just ask it.
Okay. What a weird question, says Johnny. You came to rescue me just to ask that. Anyway, you're the one who's good at defeating robots. Have you tried finding some way to make it short-circuit? Water might work. It's worth a try. Sorry, I can't help more. So do Sonic and Tails ask him about their other friends, or about who's running the city?
Let's ask him about the other friends.
32. I don't think I know, starts John. Oh, hang on, have I gone to the right one? Yeah. Sorry, that was a weird way for it to start. I don't think I know, starts Johnny, but Dancer interrupts him. I know where two of your friends are, she says. A walrus and a penguin. You know them? Cool, yeah, Sushi and Tux, says Sonic. Right before I saw them... Sorry, hang on. I can't even speak. Right, I saw them before I was caught by the robots. They're in the room with the pool, replies Dancer. A pool? Says Tails. That sounds luxurious. It isn't, believe me, says Dancer. So you can either run to the room with your friends or ask who is running the city.
I kind of want to, like, because it's probably going to be Robotnik, but
Sure.
I want it to be a surprise for running to the city. So let's go to the pool room.
Okay. Got another adorable little drawing here.
Is that, what are they called? Sushi and...
Joe Sushi the walrus and Tux the penguin. Oh no, a water level, says Albert.
Oh no.
I'll show you the way, says Boombox, and sets off down the tunnel. It's a long walk, and Sonic and Tails feel almost as if they're lost in a maze, until finally they can see an exit ahead. Boombox points to it. That's the pool room, he says. I'm not going in there, they almost caught me last time. I'll show your rabbit friend a way out of the city, but I can't help you here, sorry. He, Dancer, and Johnny Lightfoot walk back down the tunnel. Sonic and Tails watch them go, then look out into the pool room. The room is huge. At its centre is an enormous pool of steaming water. Above that, fixed to the ceiling, is a strange contraption with loops and tubes pointing down into the pool. It hisses and belches menacingly, and from time to time something black drops from one of the tubes and sizzles as it hits the water. In the pool are Joe Sushi the walrus and Tux the penguin. They aren't enjoying themselves. The water looks very hot indeed, and there are bronze guard robots around the edge, armed with long poles, and they prod the two animals with them every time they get close to the edge. The robots' cartridges, notices Sonic, say exercise. Tails turns to Sonic. You tackle the last room, he says. Let me try this one. Sonic nods, not afraid to let his friend show off because he knows he can always rush to his assistance if something goes wrong. Tails can watch to see what's going on, attack the guard bots around the edge of the pool, dive into the pool, or leap up to the ceiling and grab one of the loops hanging there. What do we think?
I don't think Tails should fight. That sounds like a bad idea. I think the last option... Maybe see, like, what was it? Look around the room?
You can watch and see what's going on, dive into the pool, leap up to the ceiling and grab one of the loops hanging there.
Let's do that. That's the one.
Okay. Tails rushes across the floor, dodging guard bots, and throws himself into the air towards the loops on the ceiling. It's a beautiful leap with half twist and double gainer, but as Tails grabs for the loops, they come off in his paws. He falls into the pool with a splash, a very surprised expression, and 2 gold rings.
That's the consolation prize.
Okay, you now have 7 rings. So I think that takes Tails out, and you are now Sonic again.
Well...
Yow!
So much for Tails showing up.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take my time there a little bit.
Maybe. Yow, the water is hot. so hot that Tails is almost scalded by it. No wonder Tux and Joe Sushi are trying to get out. Tails looks around. The robots on the edge of the pool haven't noticed the third animal in the pool. Joe and Tux have, and he can hear their shouts. Tails, get out, save yourself. Tails can try to get out of the pool, dive to the bottom of the pool to retrieve one of the objects falling from the ceiling, or try to help Joe and Tux out of the water. What do we think?
Those rings that fell in the water, right?
It was a black object. Oh, I've just realised I should... There we go.
Yeah, let's try. Let's try diving for it. Maybe Tails gets spoiled alive, but that's a good to take.
Okay. Tails takes a deep breath and turns turtle, diving through the hot water towards the bottom of the pool. There are a large number of small black objects lying there, and a larger round one. Tails looks at one of the small objects and recognises it as a cartridge, like the ones plugged into the robot's chest sockets. He picks up one that has been dropped into the pool and is drifting towards the bottom and nearly drops it. It's very hot. Ah, that must be why they're dropping the cartridges here, to cool them down. And also why the water is so hot. Tails looks at the cartridge, which has the word Renegade printed on it, and grabs 2. So let's add that to your list. 2 Renegade cartridge. Boo. Nearby is the large round object. This one seems fixed to the bottom of the pool. Tails stares at it until his lungs are bursting for air, and then he shoots back up to the top. As he surfaces and draws in a fresh lungful of oxygen, he realises what the thing must be. The plug for the pool. Pull it and the water will drain out. He treads water for a moment, just long enough to throw one of the Renegade cartridges to Sonic, who's still waiting in the tunnel. He's thinking quickly what he should do next. Does Tails dive back down to pull out the plug? Does he put this new cartridge into one of the guard robots? Or does he make one last attempt to climb out of the pool?
What's a renegade again?
It's like kind of like I guess like a warrior who's fighting against the system, I suppose.
Oh, well, I slapped that cartridge into one of the guards.
As heard in the BBC documentary series Doctor Who, back once again it's the Renegade Master.
What?
Tails swims towards the edge, and as he expected, a guard bot pushes him away with its pole. This time, Tails grabs the pole and starts climbing along it towards the robot. It hasn't been programmed for this, and keeps jabbing with its pole. This makes it easy for Tails to climb to the end, pull out its cartridge, and insert the Renegade one. What happens next is most unexpected. The robot drops its pole and, arms waving wildly, rushes towards the other robots. It careens into them, knocking off heads and legs and generally going berserk. After a couple of robots have been dismembered, the runaway robot gets hold of a new pole and, using it like a bow stick, smashes the remaining guardbots into little chunks of guardbot scrap before crashing through the door and disappearing down the passage with an electronic whoop of triumph. Tails helps Tux and Joe Sushi out of the pool and points to Boombox's tunnel. Quick, go, he urges. Anything could happen, so hurry. The Walrus and Penguin head towards the tunnel. Alrighty, new section of the story. Obviously that has used up one of your Renegade cartridges, so I've taken that off your list.
Okay, so we've got one more.
There is a huge crash from the far side of the room, and an army of silver robots charges in across the rubble of the far wall. Flying above them is the villainous Dr. Ivo Robotnik in his Egomatic, bright red to match his ridiculous moustache. Underneath the device is what looks like a huge metal fist. Sonic and Tails, booms his voice, amplified to be heard over the noise of hundreds of charging robots. How exquisite it is to see you. Now it's time for your exit. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god.
Something smells bad, like a rotten egg, Sonic shouts to his friends. You head for the exit. It's me he really wants. The three animals run to Boombox's tunnel and disappear down it before the robots can react. Ha 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 ha, continues Robotnik, swooping the Egomatic towards Sonic, leading his silver robot army. Does Sonic attack Robotnik's Egomatic, the robot army, or does he flee down Boombox's tunnel?
Oh god. Uh, This is, I don't think you should fight them with the kind of stats we have. We also don't have a shield. Or, I'm not sure how the armor works. Does it work for one encounter? Or?
The armor should be permanent, I believe.
Oh, okay. I guess I can try fighting them.
Alright, do you wanna attack Robotnik directly or the robot army?
I think. Wait, I can't. No, there's no option to use the cartridge. Maybe.
No.
I think better run until there's a better opportunity, maybe?
You sure?
I don't know. I'm really worried.
It's like, do you wanna flee down the tunnel?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Sonic darts towards the tunnel, dodging robots left and right. He dives into the dark hole and begins to run down that wham! His face hits something warm, wet and blubbery, and he bounces back into Tails, sending his foxy friend falling. Sorry, says the blubbery lump, it's me, Joe Sushi. I'm, stuck in the tunnel. Stuck. Too fat. Sorry. Sonic and Tails pick themselves up and put their shoulders against their friend's bulk, trying to push him further down the tunnel before Robotnik's robots descend on them. Joe slides a little, then starts to move faster, just as Sonic feels metal hands grab his arms and legs and yank him backwards. He watches as Joe and Tails head off down the tunnel towards safety. Then Tails, realising what's happened to Sonic, begins to turn back. "No!" shouts Sonic as the robots drag him out of the tunnel. "Take the others back to the zone. I'll sort out Robotnik. Don't worry about me." Tails nods and disappears into the darkness.
Oh god.
Held firmly by the robots, Sonic can do nothing but listen to Dr. Robotnik's fiendish voice, which is still laughing. "Ha ha ha," it goes. "Ha ha ha. Foolish hedgehog, I have you ready to be scrambled." "And I'll escape again," shouts Sonic. "Not a chance, you irritating insectivore. My robots have been most excellently programmed to deal with you until I have destroyed your beloved Green Hill Zone with the magnificent Technobot. Ha!" The mad scientist is still laughing as the robots lift Sonic above their heads and carry him away. They're holding him so tightly he can't try to spin or escape, but he could reach down and grab a cartridge from one of them. So do we want to grab a cartridge, or do we think that's a bad idea?
Yeah, let's go grab a cartridge.
Alrighty, 43. Sonic's gloved hand feels around the metal chest of one of the robots, carrying him until it finds the cartridge and yanks it out of the slot. The robot doesn't seem to notice. The word on the cartridge is execute, and it gives Sonic a bad feeling in his stomach.
Oh no!
Right, let's add that to the list there. Not to be confused with Execute the Pokemon, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I'd be delighted if they showed up. Right. The robots are carrying Sonic away, holding him securely above their heads. They trudge along endless metal-lined corridors, then turn left to face a blank wall. One of the robots does something, and a rectangular crack appears and slides aside to reveal a small room with metal walls filled with all kinds of rubbish. Broken furniture, empty wire coils, burnt-out transformers, obsolete video games, and so on. Also, rather obviously visible in one corner is the entrance to one of Boombox's tunnels. The robots hurl Sonic into the room. He scrambles up to attack his imprisoners, but the door is already slit shut, and he can barely see its outline on the smooth metal. Sonic can head down Boombox's tunnel, explore the room and its contents, wait to see what happens, or he can try to work out how to open the door. What do we think?
I think maybe search the room first.
Search the room?
Yeah.
116. Sonic searches through the junk and debris, hunting for anything useful. Among the general detritus is a leather armchair with its springs showing through, a stuffed owl, an obsolete video game, 5 carpet tiles with different patterns, a heap of files labelled My Plans to Defeat Sonic, which are all empty, a copy of a book called Successful Eggs, which turns out to be full of omelette recipes, a globe of Mobius with so many pins stuck in it that Sonic initially mistakes it for one of his relatives, an antique commode, and lots of empty chocolate boxes. It's all useless. Underneath all the rubbish, though, he finds 2 things he can use. 3 gold rings and an air vent. He takes the rings, bringing your total up to 10.
Only 90 more.
And wonders whether he should use the air vent to escape, head down Boombox's tunnel, or hang around to see what happens.
The first one was an air duct?
Yeah, you can head into the air vent to try and escape.
Ah.
Sci-fi style.
Are we going to run into Tails again if we head through the boombox tunnel?
I don't remember.
I think go to through the tunnels, maybe.
Through the tunnel? 239. The tunnel is like most of Boombox's, long, twisting and dark. Sonic follows it up, down, left, right, back up and down until he's dizzy and bored. At last it ends and Sonic emerges into the sunlight. He's standing in a square in the city. Bronze robots scurry around ignoring him. Most of the buildings are 2 or 3 stories higher than when last he saw them. And the colossal machines and devices are almost finished. Down one street is a large, star-shaped building covered in scaffolding, and many of the construction robots are hurrying in that direction. Sonic can investigate the star-shaped building, he can head towards the city gates, or search the city for any more of his friends who are trapped here. What say you?
I feel like we get caught again if we look for friends, but we should probably do it anyway.
We want to have a look around, okay.
Yeah.
Up, down, left, right, end, start, exactly, well, that's the old Sonic level select. Did I tell you now I nearly got that tattooed on me, like the original Sonic level select?
Oh, why didn't you?
Because I'm a loser. I don't know, like I keep umming and ahhing about getting the Sonic tat.
You should get it.
Maybe I will. And then I'll be cool.
Yeah. Get it on your butt cheek.
Okay, Sonic wanders the city for a while, wondering exactly what's going on. All this energy and effort has to be for something, but Robotnik didn't give anything away except vague hints. Whatever it is, I'll bet it's despicably evil, Sonic says out loud to a passing bronze robot. The robot ignores him completely as usual. You robots make rotten company, Sonic continues, kicking the spanner out of another robot's hand. The robot scurries away, picks up the tool, and keeps working as if nothing had happened. Sonic wishes for a friendly face, or a voice he knows. Was that his imagination? Or did he just hear a trill of birdsong? It sounded familiar too, like one of Flicky the Bluebird's tunes. Couldn't have been his imagination, could it? So, do you want Sonic to look for Flicky, head towards the gates, or investigate the star-shaped building?
Look for the bird. Also, do you mind that I'm just going to be 2 minutes okay? I got some water.
Okie dokie. We must stay hydrated after all.
Exactly, you too.
Well, I've got a drink here. This is my my official streaming Fanta, not sponsored. I wish. Coca-Cola, please sponsor me to drink Fanta. Gotta say, this is going rather well. Probably about halfway through, if not 2/3 of the way through the story. Just so as a reminder, guys, once we've either killed Sonic off and got a game over or got to the end, we're playing a bit of Sonic Eraser later tonight, so a bit of puzzling action. Yeah, I thought so too, Gwen. That was kind of what I was thinking.
Alright, I'm back.
Hello, hello. Right then, we've got a birdie in a cage.
Oh no! How did that happen? Oh god!
Sonic looks up to see Flicky in a round cage suspended from a huge crane which towers above the city. Sonic can just see his friend, but the sound of his birdsong is unmistakable. At the moment, it sounds almost mournful. Sonic can shout up to Flicky, try to climb up the crane to reach him, or knock down the crane with a supersonic spin attack. What do we think?
Maybe shout at him.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
No, you've made the right choice. There's a
okay.
There's a picture here, but I'm gonna hold off just a second because
Okay.
there's a slight spoiler in it. Sonic cups his gloved hands around his mouth and yells with all his might. The bird's song stops, and the hedgehog can see his avian friend moving round his cage, trying to work out where the shout came from. Finally, Flicky spots him, and his twittery voice comes floating down, just audible above the noise of the city. Sonic, you're looking flustered. I hope that coming all this way to rescue me hasn't been too much trouble. Sonic smiles to himself, then cups his hands for another shout. No, but Flicky, I may have some trouble getting you down. What's the problem? Twitters Flicky. Climbing makes me kinda nervous, yells the hedgehog, then looks around to check that nobody else heard his admission. He hates confessing there might be something he can't do. Flicky's voice comes floating down again. Go and rescue Sally Acorn first, you silly spiky thing. She's a squirrel, so she can teach you how to climb. She's down the road to your right, then left at the end. I can see her from here. What are you waiting for? Sonic sets off. He follows Flicky's directions and finds Sally Acorn at the end of a dead-end street. The squirrel is trapped inside a large box that seems to be made entirely of glass. Sonic can see her, but he can't hear a single word of whatever she's shouting at him through the thick walls. A silver robot rolls around the corner. It's using one of the exercise cartridges, which Sonic recognises from the robots in the pool room. If this one is the same as those, and it's not because it's silver, not bronze, then it'll not be too smart or too deadly, but Sonic reckons he should be careful anyway. So before I give you your choices, we have poor little Sally in a box.
Oh
Sonic looking very confused.
no. Is that Sally? They look so much different from what they look like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's how she looks in the games.
Really? That's cute.
Little
I
dinky
like her
Sally.
little bowl.
Ashley says, "Did Sonic find a gamer girl?" Sally might be a gamer girl. We don't know.
We just found the
We
gamer
just
girl.
found the gamer girl. We're gonna get the
We
we're gonna get the
have
Sally
high
Acorn
schoolers.
bathwater. Okay. Sonic can destroy the robot guard, try to smash the glass walls of Sally's prison, try to work out what she's saying to him, or he can look around in case this is a trap.
Yeah, look around in case this is a trap, because that's very suspicious.
It is a little bit. The prickles along Sonic's back rise up. He can sense that something's wrong. Something's about to happen, but he can't tell what. You got to give us a dice roll.
Oh no!
You've got to beat a 7 with Sonic's quick wits plus your dice.
I rolled a 6. So.
Oh, you rolled a 6. There you go then. So 6 plus 2 is 8. You have thus succeeded. Turn to section 221. Sonic looks up into the sky. Something is falling towards him. He dives out of the way and a huge glass box, exactly like the one that Sally's trapped inside, lands with a thump, trapping the silver guard robot inside it. The edge of the glass wall is touching Sonic's trainers. If he hadn't moved so fast, he'd have been squashed flat under it. The robot inside the box steps forward and bumps into the wall. It turns and bumps into another wall. A radio antenna extends from the top of its head, a light flashes on its chest, and a second silver robot stomps around the corner into view. Sonic looks around, sees Sally has slumped against the wall of her prison. Her eyes are closed and her breathing is shallow. Of course, he thinks, she's running out of air in there. He has 3 choices. Try to smash the glass, smash the new robot, or plug a cartridge into the new robot.
What cartridges do we have?
We have Blitzkrieg, Exterminate, Renegade, and Execute.
I feel like using a cartridge would be kind of a waste if you can just smash the glass that she's in.
You want to try breaking the old glass there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sonic pummels on the glass, then takes a flying leap at it, spinning like a flywheel. It doesn't work. The only thing damaged is one of his spikes, which bends out of shape. The glass is too thick for him to smash it. Sonic looks round, knowing he's racing against time. 2 ideas come to him: smashing the robot, or slotting a cartridge into it.
What cartridge should even... I guess we'll use another Renegade cartridge, right? Does that work?
Yep, that's one of your options. We've got, if you choose, like it says, what does Sonic use? You can only use the ones you've written down. There's not much point using exercise because that's what the robot has at the moment. You can choose to use the renegade one if you want.
Let's try that one. Maybe it'll help getting her out there.
Okay. The robot doesn't react as Sonic switches its cartridge, but suddenly it stands bolt upright, its eyes flashing wildly. It spins around, then does what Sonic guesses is a robotic attempt at a supersonic spin and runs at the nearest wall. Crash! To Sonic's surprise, it goes straight through, out of the cage, into the wall of Sally's cage. Crash! Through that cage and through the far wall. Crash! Overcome with the strain, its arms and legs drop off. The robot's body falls over and it stares up at Sonic for a moment before its head topples onto the ground. 5 gold rings roll out.
Aww.
So we'll take your cartridge off and add on 5 rings, bringing your total to 15. Sally is dead impressed by this. Wow!
I thought you said Sally's dead!
Oh no! That would be terrible!
Sally's dead! Impressed by this.
That's right, dead serious about going to Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Yeah.
Wow, that was great, Sonic. Thanks for rescuing me. How did you make the robot do that? Oh, says Sonic nonchalantly, retrieving the cartridge from the collapsed robot and picking up the rings. I'll add the cartridge back on now that I've just taken it off this second. Oop. Oh no. I can't spell. There we go. When you're a superhero, that stuff's easy. So you now have 3 options for things that you can have Sonic ask Sally. Do you have him say, teach me to climb the crane so I can rescue Flicky? Find Tails and tell him to bring help? Or do you know how to beat the giant robot in Botman?
Let's ask her to teach him how to climb.
Okay, turn to section 10. Sally looks at the blue hedgehog with surprise. Well, she says, I'm surprised that you'll admit you need my help. It shows you're a true hero, you know, knowing your own limits. Of course I'll help you. They reach the bottom of the crane. Flicky is still hanging in his cage way above them. Sally gives Sonic a quick lesson in how to climb, how to decide which handholds and footholds are going to support him, how to balance his weight properly, and most importantly, to take the climb slowly and carefully. Then the two of them set off up the crane, Sally going first and shouting advice to Sonic. It's a long climb, but they finally reach the top and walk carefully along the crane's arm to Flicky's cage. It has a trapdoor in the top, and Sally climbs down the rope to it and undoes the door. Flicky flutters out, very grateful at being released. While the 3 of them are on top of the crane, Sonic can use the time to look out over the city. As seen in this lovely little diagram here.
Aww. Sally looks so worried.
Which way does Sonic look? Does he look towards the gates? Towards the large star-shaped building? Or does he look for Robotnik?
The star-shaped building.
Star-shaped building. You're doing very well, by the way. I think you've saved all of Sonic's friends now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! All this is 5 bonus.
I don't remember if Chirps is in this one, but if not, you have saved them all.
Oh.
Sonic searches until he sees the building. From up here, it looks like some kind of large starfish, or perhaps a fat person lying on the ground, with a hollow area where their heart would be. Fat shaming. All the scaffolding and construction robots have gone. Sonic sees something gleaming in the hollow. It's a Chaos Emerald. It must be powering the city. Something big, gold and spiky moves out from behind the star-shaped building. Sonic only catches a glimpse before it goes behind another building, but it wasn't like any kind of robot that he'd seen before. Something explodes and the crane shakes. Sally squeaks and almost falls off. Sonic steadies himself and looks down. A gang of robots are climbing up the crane, and one of them is blown up. Sonic can see that all their cartridges read, "Explode." If they all blow up, the crane will collapse.
Oh god.
Does Sonic jump down to the ground in a foolhardy devil-may-care way? Does he start climbing down, or does he ask Flicky to carry Sally and himself away?
If Flicky... Okay, let's ask Flicky if he can do that. I'm
Okay.
not sure how big he is.
He's a little guy.
Oh, wow.
Flicky shakes his head sadly. Sorry, old friend, but I can't do that. One passenger is my limit. I can't carry you both. I've only got little wings. Sonic is torn between two choices. Should he do the heroic thing and let Flicky carry Sally to safety? Or should he insist that as he is the only one who can beat Robotnik, he should get the ride?
No, Sally. Of course, Sally.
Of course. I'm so happy you said that. I would have told you off if you hadn't. Sonic starts climbing down the crane. It's more difficult than climbing up, especially because he has to check every step to make sure he's not going to be grabbed by a robot. He watches as Flicky flies off into the distance, carrying Sally Acorn with him. The tower shakes as two more of the climbing robots explode below him. Sonic feels his grip on the girders loosening. You need to give us a dice roll on Sonic's agility, which you've given a 2 to. We seem to be getting a lot of 2s this evening.
That's a 3.
Got a 3. You need to beat a 7, and you have not done that.
Oh no!
Sonic hits the ground at such speed that he bounces back into the air. His second landing is much slower and safer, and he unrolls and looks up at the top of the crane. He can just see Flicky carrying Sally Acorn away to safety, flying faster than Robotnik in his Egg-O-Matic, which buzzes around the top of the crane like an angry bumblebee, until one of the climbing robots explodes, knocking out one girder too many, and the structure totters and falls with a crash that shakes the whole city. Sonic shrugs his shoulders. Shoddy workmanship. Or should that be work robotship, he wonders. If I was going to build a mega crane and imprison someone at the top, I wouldn't get robots to do it, no way. Come to think of it, he thinks, I guess I wouldn't do it at all. That's the difference between Robotnik and me. Of course, he's also ultimately fat, stinks of eggs, has a moustache, is unspeakably evil, and wants to destroy me and rule the world. So you didn't, even though you failed the check there, you didn't suffer for it.
Yeah, I didn't get we got a little rant about how Sonic is OSHA certified.
As Homer says, Sonic reflects his villain arc by letting Sally leave. If you do make Sally wait and have Flicky carry you off instead, I think the crane collapses with her on it.
Oh,
she's okay, but she's really mad at you.
I would be mad too.
Yeah. Sonic turns the corner, and there is Boombox, holding some rolled up papers. Oh, it's you, he says. I was wondering when you'd turn up again. Look, I was tunnelling, and I found these. They're blueprints of Robotropolis, like maps or plans of the whole city. Take a look. Sonic and Boombox spread the papers out on the ground and study them. Does Sonic look at the layout of the star-shaped building, look for the city's power source, or just browse through the plans?
Well, we found the power source. It's the Chaos Emerald, right?
I think so, yes. That makes sense to me.
What's the... Oh, yeah, let's look at the first one.
The layout of the star-shaped building. 172. The star-shaped building is at the centre of the plans, so it must be important. It has a big, heavily guarded door, but Sonic notices there's a back way in. It leads from a kind of pipe, or tunnel, through several rooms to the central area, which, according to the blueprints, has no ceiling and is full of scientific equipment. Sonic tries to work out what else might be there, but the plans aren't that clear. Any ideas? He asks Boombox. Sorry dude, not a clue, replies the rat. I'm not too keen on this science stuff. I grew up in a laboratory and it scarred me for life. Literally.
Fuck. That's so messed up.
That's a pretty grim joke, actually.
Yeah, what the hell?
Sonic can search for the city's power source on the plans or browse through them looking for other clues. What say you?
Let's look for the power source.
Okay, 274. Sonic spots the symbol for power cables and traces them through the city. They spread out like the roots of a tree, but all of them lead back to one place. The central open chamber of the star-shaped building in the centre of the city. There's no sign of what's creating the power there. Sonic can look at the star... Oh, we've done that, so the only option left now is to browse through the plans. So let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, here we go. Sonic looks all over the plans and notices a small box in one corner labelled Robot Statistics. He reads it carefully. Bronze robots, workers, minor guards, total 2,775. Silver robots, overseers, soldiers, total 194. Gold robots, special patrol duties, total 2. Platinum robot, all details classified, total 1.
Oh God.
Gold and platinum robots, says Boombox. They're new. Haven't come across any of them. Nor me, says Sonic, trying to remember if he's beaten more than 194 silver robots and deciding that he probably hasn't. I wonder what they're like. The ground trembles and something in a nearby street revs its powerful engine. Boombox looks at Sonic. I've no idea, he says, but I think we're about to find out. So, do you want Sonic to dash into the road and see what's there, hide around a corner and watch as it goes past, or climb onto a nearby building for a better view?
Let's climb onto a building.
Onto a building. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
This
That's not a good sign.
This is what's just come around the corner. This happy little fella.
Oh my God. That was... Oh, okay. That was wild.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Sonic jumps up to the top of a machine, and from there to a building, and then onto a taller building until he's high above the big robot and hopefully out of its range. It's very big, and very golden, and very nasty. Guns sprout from every part of its body, and they're constantly swiveling and turning to aim at new objects. Anything that moves is a target, and may be blown apart. On top of the robot, Sonic can see a program cartridge reading Juggernaut. He can leap down to attack, go back and talk to Boombox, or throw something to distract it.
What do we have to throw is the problem.
That is a question.
You can throw it as like a Game Gear. You don't have to game it.
Oh, okay, like, without spoiling it, it doesn't cost you anything from your inventory, so that's okay.
Oh. That's true.
Okay. Sonic grabs a piece of metal and hurls it over the top of the gold robot. It hits the ground, bounces, and is reduced to molten scrap by a blast of purple death ray from the machine. Sonic watches as the robot's guns point at the pool of melted metal, then slowly trace the piece of metal's path through the air back towards its source. Sonic knows what will happen if the bot spots him, so he dashes away to the alley where Boombox is hiding. Sonic dives back into the side street and hides behind a pile of unused pistons. He hears the gold robot rev its engines and drive away. There are occasional crashes as it fires its guns at something, and more occasional explosions when something doesn't get out of the way in time. The pile of pistons shakes and Boombox crawls out from under it. "What was that?" he asks. "The gold robot," Sonic replies. "It'll take more than just me to defeat it. Will you help?" "Hey, I'm a mover, not a fighter," says Boombox. "Besides, while you were dodging bullets, I was looking at these blueprints. There's a thing called the Zap Cannon on top of the tallest building in Robotropolis. That's a Pokemon move." According to the plans, it's computer controlled, but you can take it over and fire it where you like. Get the idea? Sonic nods, smiling. Then there's the other plan. The other gold robot is over by the city gates, guarding them. Gold robots shoot at anything that moves, so if you lure that one over there, they should attack each other. It's more risky than the cannon, but it could be fun. So do you want to go for the cannon or head towards the gates?
That sounds more fun having them like collide with each other.
Alrighty. Sonic sprints toward the city gates. As he gets close, he notices huge tracks in the ground, like the ones left by the gold robot he's just seen, and he slows down in case the second gold robot spots him. He doesn't see any other signs of the gold robot, no bullet-damaged buildings, smashed machines or squashed bots, until he turns a corner and sees the familiar sight of the gates with a familiar big gold shape parked in front of them. The two gold robots are identical, except that this one isn't moving at all, apart from the occasional twitch of a gun barrel. It reminds Sonic of a lion lazing in the sun, peaceful but still very dangerous. He approaches the robot cautiously, fixing his whole attention on it and not taking any chances in case it should suddenly attack him. It doesn't move. Sonic creeps closer. "Halt, target!" a grating electronic voice bellows behind him, and Sonic almost jumps out of his spikes. 3 silver robots stand poised to attack. They must have crept up on him while he was in turn creeping up on the gold robot. Do you want Sonic to attack them, run away, or try to lure them in front of the gold robot to attract its attention?
Lure in front of the gold robot.
Okay. Sonic runs and the robots give chase. He leads them straight in front of the gold robot's front sensors. It works! The massive machine revs its motor and sets off after him and his pursuers, slowly at first and then faster and faster, so fast that it runs over the 3 silver bots and leaves them flattened behind it. So fast that it's almost catching up with Sonic. Time for a dice roll.
Oh no!
You need to roll on Sonic's speed to beat a 6.
Oh god, okay. That's my sight.
So you need a 5 or a 6. You got a 1 in 3rd chance.
Oh, I have a 3.
You got a 3.
Oh no!
Right. If Sonic fails, remember how many points he failed by and turn to 278. Okay, so remember the number 3, because that's how many points we were short by. Probably without being massively penalised here.
Oh no!
Sonic dashes away, not looking where he's going, and trips over the remains of the silver robots. The gold robot thunders towards him, firing all its guns. Sonic must roll on his agility to dodge the bullets, 1 for every point that he missed the last speed roll by.
Oh, okay, so we have to roll the dice 3 times.
If he makes them all, turn to 237. If he loses rings, cross them off, keep trying, loses life, blah blah blah. Right.
Oh god.
Now, there isn't a score listed here, so you only have to beat a 2.
Oh, okay.
So give us your first roll.
Okay. 5.
That's good. And another one.
3.
That'll do. And another one.
4.
That'll do.
Nice.
Turn to 237. And here's this little guy. Oh, trying to get there. There we go.
Aww. That's so cute.
Cheeky little Sonic. The race is on. Sonic knows he must stay close enough to the robot to keep it following him, but not so close it can shoot accurately. He sprints ahead, zigzagging around obstacles and leaping over anything in his way, and the huge gold robot roars after him, running over small buildings and slower robots, and firing at anything that might be a target. The noise is incredible. Finally, Sonic sees the star-shaped building ahead and can hear the other gold robot's engine. He keeps running until he can see both robots, then dives around the corner into a side street and keeps running in case one of the robots follows him. It needn't have worried. The moment the two see each other, it's hate at first sight. Death rays crackle, grenades thump, machine guns rattle and lasers light up the sky. The smell of burning metal fills the air. It's hard to tell which one is winning because of the smoke and noise. Finally, the sound dies away, the smoke clears, and both robots lie there, piles of scrap metal. It worked!
Nice!
Unfortunately, the scrap metal completely blocks the main entrance to the building.
No.
If Sonic wants to search the robots, that's an option, or you can enter the star-shaped building. What do you want to do?
I'll search him.
Sonic hunts through the wreckage and finds, 6 gold rings, which brings you up to 21.
Nice.
And a length of gold cable, which might be useful, so he takes it with him. So let's add that to the list. Gold cable. Oh. There we go.
Nice.
You did alright there.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Sonic stands on the robot wreckage celebrating. "Hey Boombox," he shouts. "Me, Sonic, mighty destroyer of robots." Pretty stupid machines, eh? Boombox appears from where he's been hiding behind a huge valve and surveys the damage. "Well, someone's pretty stupid," he says. "This mess is completely blocking the doors. You'll never get through. It's a good thing there's another way in or you'd be stuck." Sonic gets off the pile of broken robot bits and he and Boombox walk around the building. On the other side is a pipe with a grill over it. Boombox starts pulling the grill off. "Is this it?" asks Sonic. He turns to look at you. "Hey, hedgehogs aren't meant to go down pipes. That's a job for plumbers. If you want to play around with plumbers, you're reading the wrong game book."
That's cute.
That's pretty cute. "Who are you talking to?" asks Boombox. "Nobody you'd know," says Sonic. Together they prise the grill off the pipe. Sonic looks into its dark depths. He's not happy about going in, but he knows that duty calls. "Well," says Boombox, "I've got to check Dancer's okay. Do well, man, and take this for luck." He gives Sonic a gold ring and watches as the hedgehog crawls into the pipe. That brings you up to 22 rings. The pipe stays flat for a few meters, then slopes downwards. It gets steeper and steeper until Sonic decides to roll into a ball. He rolls faster and faster, reaching incredible speeds, so fast that he hardly notices as the slope levels off. Wham! He plows through another grill stretched across the pipe and is spinning in free fall. As seen in another little piggy here.
Oh. Who's got salt? Lovely is crying.
Sonic's very cute in this book.
Yeah.
He unwinds and looks around. He's in an enormous room, floating in the air between walls which are hundreds of feet away. Little fluffy clouds float between the walls, and a couple of aerobots are flying around. In the far distance, on the opposite wall, you can just see a door. Sonic can drift for a while, try to swim through the air towards the door, or look around for anything interesting.
Look around for anything interesting.
Okay. Sonic can't see anything else in the room. So does he drift in the air currents, set off for the door, or head for a wall and crawl along it to the door?
Crawl along, I think.
That may seem like a pointless chapter. If we'd done the Zap Cannon, you've got a different path you can take there.
Oh.
The walls are studded with big rivet heads and bolts, so once Sonic has swum through the air to one of them, he finds it easy to climb along it towards the door, much easier than climbing buildings, and he can move fairly fast. As he's crawling along from rivet to rivet, Sonic notices a large lever on one of the other walls. There's no hint about what it might do, but it's not too far out of his way. Do you want to head towards it and pull it, or swim through the air towards the door?
That sounds... I think we're just gonna go for the door, because I'm afraid it'll, like, make the walls move towards each other or something.
Match you. Flat hedgehog. Swimming through the air takes practice, but Sonic quickly masters it. He has no problem avoiding the mines, there's mines in the air apparently, and soon reaches the door on the far side of the room. It's closed, but there is a slot next to it. Not big enough to take a robot cartridge, so it must be for something else. From here, Sonic can see a lever on one of the other walls. There's no sign of what it can do. So you can either pull the lever, or use a floating mine to blow open the door.
Okay, we're gonna use the lever. Just before we mess around with the exploding things again.
Okay. The lever sticks out of the wall, a big chrome pole with a red ball on one end. Sonic grasps it firmly with both hands and pulls. For a second, nothing happens. Then there is a whooshing sound and Sonic is pulled towards one of the walls. He dangles from the lever and watches as the mines and aerobots fall out of the air and crash and explode against the wall, which is now the floor, now that the gravity's been switched back on. The clouds turn into water and rain down, putting out the fires started by the exploding machines. Sonic lets go of the lever and drops to the floor. He jogs over to the nearest crashed aerobot and looks at it. It's got a pterodactyl cartridge, which Sonic quickly pockets.
Oh.
So you ended up with one anyway. And it's holding a card in one of the hands at the end of its wings. Sonic takes the card, walks over to the doorway, there's a slot beside it, and sure enough, the card fits perfectly, disappearing as the door slides open.
Nice. You didn't die.
He didn't die. Taking a risk paid off. So let's add the pterodactyl cartridge. You are doing really well at this, by the way. I think you're pretty close to the final bit of the game.
This is going surprisingly well for like me starting out with. I want to kill Sonic.
You decided to play it morally, didn't you? At some point you were like, I can't hurt Sonic. He's a friend.
I'm invested now. I need to protect him.
The gravity is on in the tunnel beyond the doorway, and it's a relief to feel solid metal under his feet. Sonic jogs along until he comes to a door like the one in the last room. This one opens automatically for him, and after he steps through it, it slams shut. Sonic is in a large room full of computer equipment, with humming disk drives and computer terminals worked by bronze worker robots, which ignore the inquisitive hedgehog. On one wall is a huge screen, with a large keyboard attached to it. In the far wall is another doorway, with a slot beside it for some kind of key. So, does Sonic look at the door, the robots, or the large screen?
Let's look at the large screen.
Okay. The big screen is switched on, but it's blank apart from the words "Enter password for keycard" displayed in inch-high letters on it. This is the only way Sonic can see to get a key for the door. Think of the password Sonic is going to type in, then turn to section 179. So, what password do we think he is going to enter?
Is there something to choose from?
No.
Oh my god! I don't. Type in password.
Sonic bends over the keyboard and pokes the first letter of his password. Above him, the screen fills with a weird spinning pattern of lights and colours like some kind of whirlpool or tornado. It's pulling him into the screen.
Oh my god. Well.
Sonic grabs the keyboard to stop himself being sucked in. It holds him back for a moment, then snaps in the middle, and Sonic slides into the screen. For a moment, everything is pitch black. Then, there's a burst of static and Sonic's vision clears. He's in a small biplane, flying through a bright blue sky with patchy clouds in the distance. Something's not quite right. There's no wind in his face, all the colours are really bright, the clouds look the same, and everything except him has bitty, jagged edges as if it was drawn on graph paper or a cheap computer. I mean Robotnik's computer, exclaims Sonic. Trust him to go for something with bad graphics. And he wiggles the controls of the biplane. Awful controls. My Game Gear can do better than this. Suddenly, 3 objects drop down out of the clouds and swoop towards the plane. They're not biplanes. They are sleek, impressive spaceships armed with laser cannons and missile launchers. They open fire with large, bright bullets that drift slowly through the air. Sonic can shoot down the alien ships, try to land the plane, or avoid the bullets and fly past the invaders.
Let's try and take them down.
Alrighty. The biplane flips over to aim at the spaceships. Sonic presses the trigger on the machine guns, letting off a long burst. The ships explode with brief flashes of light and disappear. With a burst of sinister but tinny background music, a much larger alien ship appears on the horizon. Each of its 4 guns is as large as the spaceships which Sonic just destroyed, and it fires huge bolts of sizzling blue energy. And you'll never guess what you've got to do now. Gonna need a dice roll from you.
Oh no.
You need to beat the mothership's difficulty of 6.
I rolled a 4.
Let's have a look. What happens here? Wait a minute. Okay. The biplane is caught head-on by a bolt of energy and explodes into a noisy but badly animated explosion that swallows it and Sonic as well. You've just lost a life.
Oh no!
It's going to send us back in a circle now, so what I'm going to do is I've taken you a life off and we'll assume that you got through that section now.
Okay.
Because it's no fun just being in a death loop.
Yeah, yes.
I'm a generous game master.
So
There'll be no falling rocks. Gwen says, should have ended up in a Mario sounding game and given some shade. That would have been amazing.
what game was that supposed to be?
Just a general like dogfighting game, I guess, or Space Invaders maybe, or Galaga.
Why would Doctor Robotnik how they make a game like that?
Hey, everybody loves Space Invaders.
Okay, fair enough.
even crazy egg doctors. Sonic weaves in and out of the energy beams, firing the machine guns every time he gets a clear shot. One by one, he takes out the 4 guns, then watches as the ship blows up and sinks out of sight. There's a burst of static, and suddenly Sonic is facing a tough-looking guy in a karate outfit. Once again, he's bitty around the edges, and there's no detail to the way he looks. He grunts and aims a kick for Sonic's head. Does Sonic ignore it and go straight for an attack, or does he parry and wait for an opening?
We'll play Dark Souls now.
You're gonna go for a parry, right? Sonic expertly ducks away from the kick. Oh, Gwen says maybe the game was Star Fox. That's possible.
Yeah, maybe it's going through like Star Fox and Street Fighter. I don't know the timeline of those games like coming out. So
They'd have both been out, so I guess that makes sense. And of course, if Robotnik is evil, he would of course have a Nintendo console.
Oh my god, of course!
Sonic expertly ducks away from the kick. The other guy looks as if he's winding up for a big attack, and Sonic watches for the moment when he drops his guard. The big guy grunts, raises his arms, and Sonic leaps for him, spinning like a cannonball. He hits the guy hard in the stomach and watches him fall backwards, hit the floor, and fade away. The words "You win" appear in the air above Sonic. Then there's another burst of static, which clears just as suddenly as before. Sonic is behind the wheel of some kind of car. Not a racing car, more a sports car, hurtling down a mountainous road. He's in Outrun now, apparently. In his rear view mirror, he can see a sinister dark blue car with smoked glass windows coming up fast behind him. Quickly, he scans the dashboard. There aren't any weapon controls or anything like that. Sonic can either accelerate away from the other car or try to ram it off the edge of the road. What do we think?
Ram it off the edge of the road!
Ram it off. Simon9 says, Super Nintendo, surely you mean a Fam Egg Com.
Oh my god.
Very good, very good. Sonic brakes, letting the other car catch up, and then swings viciously across the road, slamming against his opponent. The other car veers, skids, flips, and cartwheels, bouncing end over end before bursting into flames. Sonic turns back to the road. A moment later, the finishing line appears in the distance, and he accelerates, zooming past it at incredible speed, and on, smashing through the computer screen back into the room. Sonic picks himself up, brushes the broken glass off his spikes, and looks up at the wreckage of the computer display screen. He notices a small piece of plastic wedged against the broken glass with the word "keycard" stamped on it. Under it are 5 gold rings. Sonic grabs them and slips the card into the door slot, so you now have 27 rings.
Do I lose the rings instead of a life if I get hit or something like that?
Yeah. So you can take 2 hits before you die, just like in the games.
Okay.
It swallows the card and opens obediently. The hedgehog jogs off down the corridor. It ends in another door that automatically opens as he gets close and slams shut as he steps into the next room. This room is about the same size as the last one, but there's only one computer in the middle of the room. There's something on the ceiling directly above it that might be a death ray and might be a very ornate light shade. It's hard to tell. Around the outside of the room are 5 identical metal compartments, big enough to hold Sonic or a robot. On the far wall is a closed door with a slot for a keycard. Sonic can inspect the compartments, fiddle with the computer in the middle of the room, or wait a while and watch to see what happens.
Oh god, this does not sound good. I think let's look at the compartments.
Okay, 209. Well, I tell you what, I'm just gonna pop the light on. It's getting a little dark in here.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
There. Professional streaming.
Is that a Dragon Ball towel?
Yeah.
Could get a Sonic towel.
Got where? Goku.
Hello, Goku.
Good old Super
He's
Saiyan.
yelling at you.
I want to play Sonic.
You can play Sonic. You can play that game you were talking about earlier.
Oh god.
Is it not good?
It's not great.
I'm excited to watch.
Oh no. Get your earmuffs at the ready.
Okay.
Right, where are we? Sonic examines the compartments. Each has a miniature version of the Death Ray light shade at the top, and they're all empty. The computer is running, but it's really hard to tell what to do. The screen's full of confusing numbers and letters. Sonic can wait and watch for a while, or try to operate the controls.
Let's try and operate the controls. I feel like if we wait, just something bad's gonna happen.
You just have a foreboding sense of dread.
Yeah, I don't like this room.
Sonic looks at the controls. He can't figure them out, but he presses a few buttons anyway. Suddenly, all the spikes down his back stand on end, and he's bathed in a weird purple light from the device on the ceiling. A second later, it switches off. And 5 new Sonics step out from the compartments around the room, eyeing each other warily. Sonic looks at them. 3 of them look just like him, and it's a really strange feeling seeing someone who looks and moves just like you. But one of the others is made of silver and another is made of bronze. The other Sonics spot this at the same moment the real Sonic does, and they all leap into supersonic spin attacks. Within seconds, the 2 robot imposters are junk on the floor, and there are 4 Sonics left, as we can see here.
Oh god, okay. We're playing Among Us now. Oh my god, look at the robot one! He's
cute.
just so shocked. Oh, he's adorable.
And now he's dead. We've killed him. Sonic can attack one of the other imposters, he can tell the others that he's the real Sonic, or he can ask if any of them has a keycard for the door. What do we think?
Let's ask for the key card.
Okay.
Gives me Sonic to his taxes while we wait.
Keycard? Yes, I've got one, says one of the Sonics. He's taller than the other and he steps forwards. Pleased to meet you. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, he says, taking Sonic's hand and shaking it in a grip like iron. It is iron. Sonic can see tiny rivets along his arm and little cracks along the joints in his fingers. Before the imposter, he said Among Us, before the imposter squeezes his hand to mush, will Sonic attack him or call to the other 2 hedgehogs for help?
They're all gonna be robots, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, let's attack them. I guess. Oh god.
Without warning, Sonic leaps towards the nearest hedgehog like a whirling like a windmill. He hits the imposter on the forehead and it explodes into cogs, wires and springs. It was a robot. Before he can do anything else, the other 2 Sonics grab his arms, holding them behind his back. Would I ever attack an unarmed me? Asks one of the hedgehogs. No way, exclaims the other one. I'm a hero, and heroes don't do uncool things like that. This must be one of the new Sonics. Let's destroy him.
Uh-oh.
Before Sonic can blink, both of the other Sonics have leapt into the air, whirling with supersonic spin attacks. 2 heavy blows land on his head, and everything goes black. And you lose all your rings.
Oh no, okay, that was a bad idea.
But you haven't lost a life.
That's good, I guess.
As he comes round, he sees the other 2 Sonics arguing about which one is the real one. Does Sonic challenge them both to a race, look at them to try and spot any differences, or ask them about Botman?
Ask him about man.
Oh, Homer said about about your comment about doing taxes. It's like waiting and watching is always an option.
Oh, sorry, I was referring to that.
Oh, right, sorry, I missed that. I do
That was my
apologise.
joke.
I do apologise. Hey, says Sonic, any of you guys got an inside track on how to slip past that giant robot guy? Giant robot? Asks one of the other Sonics. I don't understand. The giant robot is our friend, isn't it? The third Sonic nods in agreement. See, continues the other one, I knew he was a fake. Let's get him. Sonic must think of something fast if he's to stop the two false Sonics from beating the stuffing out of him. Does he check their appearances to see if he can spot any differences or mistakes, or does he challenge the others to a race?
Let's... Oh god, wait. My speed set is so low, I don't know what I should do. Let's do the first option.
Okay.
Oh god, I mean, is this just like the death trap room where I just die a lot?
Sonic looks the others up and down, but has to admit they're just like him. The same stylish spikes, the same ace red trainers, the same devil-may-care attitude. They're so cool he almost feels overawed by them, till he remembers that he's just as cool. No, he's cooler because he's the original and they're just copies. Aren't they? And now your only remaining option is the race.
Oh, that's a race. Thank god I didn't die there.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
I don't like this at all. Oh no.
Right. Where are we? Sonic suggests the race, and the other two hedgehogs' eyes light up. They start running immediately, round and round the room, faster and faster, until they're running around the walls, kept there by centrifugal force, and jumping over the compartments as if they were hurdles. Their incredible speed creates a tornado in the middle of the room, sucking all the debris and loose items in the room into it. Sonic can see the keycard fluttering there, spinning in the fierce wind. The three Sonics race on until the whole room shakes with the beat of their feet. They're neck and neck, evenly matched, each of them waiting for the others to make a mistake. Sonic has never met foes as good as these guys. His heart is pounding, his lungs are burning, and he knows he can't keep this up forever. The question is, can the others? Dice roll time!
No!
Roll against Sonic's speed to beat an 8.
Oh god.
You have a 2 for speed, so you cannot beat an 8.
Well, I can even it, but no, I can't beat it. Oh god.
Right, just let me check what's gonna
Who
happen.
knew they put the stats into like the fastest character ever?
I know.
Not putting it in speed would be a bad idea.
Okay, right. we're
Oh no.
I'm gonna keep my thumb in the page here because we're gonna have to come back.
Oh no! Don't do this to me!
Sonic's concentrating so hard on running that he doesn't notice as one of the other hedgehogs gets a little ahead of him and sticks out its foot, tripping him up. Sonic stumbles and rolls down the wall into the centre of the room. Look, he hears one of the Sonics shout, that one couldn't stand the pace. He's a fake. Get him! There are two whizzing noises from opposite sides of the room and two spinning hedgehogs crash into him from different directions, squashing him flat. One of them explodes from the impact, showering the room with tiny cogs, chips and wires. Sonic loses any rings he has. If he has no rings, he loses a life.
Oh god.
It says here otherwise, turn to 1, 4, 5, so. Still keeping the old thumb in the page here. I'm afraid I'm going to have to take a life off you, but if you had survived that, if you had rings but hadn't lost a life, the second Sonic grabs the keycard, slams it into the slot beside the door, and rushes away into the distance. The door slides shut after him, and the room is quiet. Oh, Sonic thinks to himself, maybe he really was the real original Sonic, and I am just a duplicate after all. Perhaps it's all for the best. After all, he did look like a hero. There is the sound of a distant explosion far off in the city. Yes, thinks Sonic, I'm sure it was for the best. He waits for something to happen, but nothing does. Sonic's adventure ends here. So that's a bad ending. Oh, okay. Because it's impossible for you to beat that, I'm going to pretend that you could beat that, because otherwise the game's unwinnable.
Okay.
So that probably should be a 7 instead of an 8, so... Sonic begins to edge slightly ahead of the others, a centimetre, then another. He's moving into the lead. The hedgehog on his left makes an extra effort to catch up, pounding its legs faster and faster as its face gets more and more purple, and suddenly it explodes. Steam jets from pipes in its neck, and oil spurts out, splattering the room and getting in Sonic's eyes as he jumps to avoid the body of the fake Sonic. When he looks back, the other remaining Sonic is diving towards the middle of the room, grabbing for the keycard. Does Sonic leap in with a super spin attack, or watch what the other one does?
No, kill him.
We're not going through that again, it's too depressing.
No, it's very sad.
The two Sonics smash together with incredible force. All you can see is a blue blur of whirling limbs. Muffled thuds and oofs can be heard as the two pound each other into submission. Finally, the ruckus quiets down, and the dust clears. One Sonic is standing with his foot on the head of the other one. But how can you tell if the winner is our Sonic or the imposter? How can you tell what? Exclaims the hedgehog. Look, Goggle Eyes, you've been watching me since I started this adventure. You should know by now whether it's me or not. You mean you actually got me confused with those fakes? Just as I was starting to credit you with some brains. And if you don't think it's really me, then just close the book and go to bed right now. He pauses for a second. Made your mind up? Good. Now let's go and find Robotnik. He picks the keycard from the floor, slips it into the slot by the door, and dashes off down the corridor. There's no door at the other end. Instead, the tunnel comes out into the open air in a huge arena filled with weird scientific apparatus that looks like it came off the set of an old Frankenstein movie. Generators spark, valves flash, pistons pop, and flasks bubble with odd-coloured liquids. It's all very melodramatic indeed. The whole thing is surrounded by tall pylons pointing up into the blue sky, and Sonic can just see the Chaos Emerald on the top of one of them. In the middle of all the equipment is the villainous figure of Dr. Robotnik himself. "Ah, my special guest!" he exclaims, and flips a huge switch. Sonic finds himself surrounded by a force field. Robotnik flips another switch, and the roof of the cloud chamber room opens, and the clouds pour upwards into the sky, which begins to darken. A few drops of rain spatter down, then suddenly a jagged streak of lightning arcs down from the sky, striking one of the pylons around the equipment. Massive blue sparks fly between the machines, and Robotnik's moustache stands on end. "You're just in time to witness my ultimate triumph, you hapless hedgehog," screams the mad scientist. "My final victory over everything that's cute and fluffy and horrible on the planet Mobius, starting with your beloved Green Hill Zone. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha!" Sonic knows that his best chance is when the Mad Doctor is laughing because he's distracted. The heroic hedgehog's first problem has to be escaping from the force field. He can spin attack it, trying to batter a way through. He can rip out any wires around him. He can try to jump over the force field. Or he can use the gold cable as a lasso. What do we think?
Let's try the gold cable, I guess.
Alrighty.
One life left. We're really, really good.
You're really tense now. Sonic takes the gold cable from his pocket. It's thin, but strong enough to hold his weight. He quickly ties a noose in one end. Bloody hell, that's grim. Whirls it around his head and throws it up at one of the pylons at the edge of the arena. The noose hooks itself over the top of one of the pylons. Sonic tugs to make sure it's on tightly, then half jumps and half climbs it, swinging over the top of the force field and into the arena itself. He's free! The cable shakes itself loose and lands back in his pocket. Good choice.
Nice.
And here's egg features. Being an eggy man.
Oh, you look so cute though. I love the contrast between how he looks there and like the poster behind you, where he looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Like he's such a cute little man there. He's like a little round egg, and then on the poster he looks terrifying.
Horrible, grotesque, bloated man.
Yeah.
The sky is filling with dark clouds and the rain is growing heavier and heavier. Lightning shoots across the sky, lancing towards Earth to hit Robotnik's equipment, which is flickering and glowing. The mad genius himself is climbing into his Egomatic, laughing like an idiot. Something else is happening. Some of the machines are starting to move, and even parts of the building are shifting and grinding together. It could be the force of the storm, but Sonic doubts it. This must be Robotnik's master plan coming into action. And there's only one person who can stop it. Sonic is faced by one of the most difficult choices he's had to make. He has to get this right. Does he?
God.
Does he attack Robotnik in the Egomatic, smash the machines and equipment in the arena, go for the Chaos Emerald, or just try to escape?
I think go for the Chaos Emerald, right? Oh God. Oh no. I don't like that people. That means something bad.
Oh no, we're okay. We're okay. Don't worry. Sonic looks around for something long enough to reach up to the Chaos Emerald on the pylon, but can't find anything to climb or anything to throw. Suddenly, exactly. Suddenly, he notices a large button on top of one of the machines. It looks like one of Robotnik's springs. Maybe it'll work like one. He scrambles onto the machine, leaps onto the spring, and is catapulted high into the air. It worked! Sonic aims himself towards the emerald, but with the wind and the rain, it's hard to be accurate. Time for a dice roll.
Oh no.
But you're rolling on Sonic's coolness, which has a score of 5, and you need to beat an 8, so you need a 4 or above. You got a 50% chance.
Oh God. What did it say? Okay, I got 5.
Okay, sweet. So turn to 2, 4, 6. The hedgehog cannonball whizzes upwards towards the pylon and the emerald on top of it, and grabs it as he hurtles past. There's a crackle as cables fall away from it, but none of the machines go off. The city must be getting its power from the lightning now. Clutching the emerald, Sonic falls back towards the ground. Either the wind carried him, or he jumped further than he thought. He's going to land outside the star-shaped building. But you've got a Chaos Emerald.
That's good, I think.
We will add that to your list. You are very close to the end of the story now.
Oh God, I better not die.
Something strange is happening. Standing outside it, Sonic watches the star-shaped building twist and turn, as if it was caught in an earthquake or a massive snake was trapped inside. Strange machines whine and groan. Sections of the building twist over and rotate, forming new shapes and fitting back into different positions. The whole building is changing, not into a different building, but something else, covered in a silvery, shiny metal. Then, with a slow and sinister creaking and hissing of hydraulics, the building stands up. It looks like an enormous metal Robotnik, but it must be a kilometre high. Its massive head is lost in the dark clouds above, and bolts of lightning flash around its enormous shoulders. It wobbles for a moment, finding its balance, then takes a step forward. The whole city shakes, machines fall over, and tall buildings begin to crumble. It's the Platinum Robot! The Technobot! Breathes Sonic. It's just like level 6 of Botman!
Uh-oh.
Slowly, the massive machine raises its foot for another step, and Sonic realises 2 things. It's heading towards the Green Hill Zone, and if he doesn't move fast, it's going to tread on him. The heroic hedgehog can dodge the foot and jump onto it as the Technobot strides past. He can dodge and let the Technobot stride past on its way towards the Green Hill Zone. Or, if he has the gold cable, he can run ahead and make a tripwire.
Tripwire! Wait, is it gonna fall on the Green Hill Zone? Oh no.
Let's have a look. Sonic dashes ahead of the mighty monolith, wrapping one end of the gold cable around the base of a crane and the other around a pipe sticking out of the ground. If he's judged it right, the Technobot will put a foot down right here and will trip as it takes another step. The ground shakes violently as the foot lands just where he expected. It dwarfs Sonic and crushes half a building with its toes. Wow, the hedgehog thinks. I wouldn't want to have to find shoes to fit that. The robot raises its foot for another step, and it catches on the cable. For a second, it's a battle between the two. Then the cable snaps with a twang.
Oh.
So we'll remove that from the list there.
Oh no.
Sonic can either leap onto the giant foot or follow the robot as it heads towards the Green Hill Zone.
I guess sleep onto it. Oh god. I'm so nervous, I only got one life.
This is what Sonic's up against. You got this lovely diagram.
Oh my god, that's huge.
Sonic in the shadow. Sonic grabs the edge of the robot's boot, size 23,000, extra wide fitting, and hauls himself onto it. It's a bumpy ride, and the hedgehog has to hang on with all his might not to be shaken off. As he hangs on, he looks around and notices a dark patch by the Technobot's ankle. He crawls closer and sees it's not a patch, it's a hole leading inside the robot. He can guess who made it from the gnawed teeth marks around the edge, the trademark of another boombox tunnel. The foot lands and Sonic dashes for the safety of the hole. He makes it before it lifts off again and hangs onto the side for safety. A piece of paper wraps round his hands. It's fixed to the inside of the tunnel, and Sonic recognises the blueprints of the star-shaped building that Boombox found. There's a note attached, which reads as follows. Dear Sonic, I left this here because it might be useful for you. The X marks where you are now. Love Boombox. P.S. Press the button. Sonic spots a red button underneath the plans. He presses it, and a hidden door slides open, revealing a small compartment. Sonic jumps in, the door closes, and the compartment starts to move upwards. It's a lift! Does Sonic look at the blueprints, or stay alert in case he's attacked?
Boombox is like the MVP here.
He's a hero, huh?
Yeah. I think, look at the blue... Oh god! I should look at the blueprints, but also I only have one life.
The blueprints are wet and muddy, but still readable. They're of the star-shaped building, not the robot, but by turning the plans upside down and squinting, Sonic can just about guess where things should be now. There's a big X by the bottom of a lift shaft, and as far as he can work out, the lift goes all the way to the top of the Technobot, stopping 4 times along the way. The plans don't show what's at each stop, but some information is better than none, and Sonic is grateful to his absent pal. The lift shudders and sways with every step of the giant Technobot, and Sonic is thrown from one side to the other. He can still hear the crash of the thunder from outside, mixed with the thudding and clanking of the robot. A moment later, the lift stops and its doors open. It leads out to a small storeroom of some kind, with shelves covered in odd items, a vacuum tube computer, boxes of transistors, a jar of moustache wax, a half-built robot made of wood, and 36 pairs of black trousers with an 80-inch waist. There are also 4 items within Sonic's reach, but he can only grab 2 of them, one in each hand, before the lift doors close. What does he pick? We have then 4 options here. We've got a short black cable with small plugs at both ends, a box of cartridges, some kind of control device, and one of Robotnik's power-up computers.
Well, we have enough cartridges, I think, right? Like, we've got a ton of them.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cartridges.
I think we'll take the computer.
Okay.
Because you can just live in there, which would be the
It would come in handy for sure. Sonic cracks open the monitor. Inside are 10 gold rings, which he eagerly pockets. So, well, that gives you an extra hit, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and your second choice then?
We've got the... What was it, the cable?
So you've got a cable with small plugs at both ends, a box of cartridges, or some kind of control device.
I kind of want to go for the cable, but also the controller sounds good. Let's go with the controller.
Okay. The control device is made of shiny metal with a red button in the middle of it. Engraved in the metal are the words Air Taxi Caller. It might be important, so Sonic pockets it. So we'll add that to the list. whatever an air taxi might be.
Yeah.
Okay. Sonic has chosen 2 items. Head to section 165. The lift doors close and it judders and shakes upwards. Sonic peers at the blueprints, trying to work out where he's going, but it's impossible to tell. The lift stops with a jolt. The doors open to reveal a corridor with flickering neon lights on the ceiling and a door at the end. Between Sonic and the door are Boombox and Dancer, and between them and the door is a large silver robot, its arms raised to attack. The 2 animals look terrified. They haven't noticed Sonic yet. Sonic doesn't know how soon the lift will set off again, and it's the only way to get to the top of the Technobot where the controls are. He can throw something at the robot to distract it, he can spin attack the robot, or he can wait and hope that his friends escape on their own.
I think... Is it the same when you throw something and it doesn't take up an all of your inventory?
Let's have a look. No, you would have to pick something this time to throw off.
Throw the chaos animals? No, don't do that! I think spin attack, because I don't know, those 2 have been our saviors so far. I don't care if you don't get back in the left.
That's pretty true. Without hesitating, Sonic dashes down the corridor and leaps into the air, flying over the head of his 2 friends and into the robot. It's not easy to fight if you and your target are standing on a floor that's swaying and bumping like a ship in a storm, and Sonic will have to fight the robot using his agility. The robot's rating is 7.
Oh, oh no!
Alright, give us a dice roll.
I'm dead! I'm so dead. Yeah. You rolled a 1.
Oh no. Well, that'll get rid of your rings then. Give us another roll.
Oh god, I'm dead. A 4.
4.
Oh
no. I'm ever so sorry, but you are dead.
well.
Do you want to continue? Because we're quite close to the end.
Yeah, let's just go.
Alrighty. I'm just going to put a little note on here. Lives left 0, rip.
Sonic's finally dead.
Now the Sonic franchise can finally be at peace.
Well,
sorry guys, I've not been paying much attention to the chat. I do apologise. It's hard to keep an eye on the book and the camera and the laptop. Oh, not a professional streamer. Okay.
yes.
Let's pretend we won that fight, because we're so close to the end.
I don't know. I rolled 6. I didn't die.
Excellent, sounds great. Sonic looks back to see the lift doors closing and sprints back to it. Boombox throws something after him. It's a lightning attractor, dude, he shouts. Thanks for the... And the doors close, cutting off the rest of his sentence. So now we have a lightning attractor. Lightning attractor. Lightning returns. You're a Final Fantasy person. Laugh at my hilarious joke.
I never played it. I like the soundtrack a lot.
Oh, there we go. Fair enough. Fine. I've never played it either. I have barely touched any Final Fantasy.
You might like some of the old ones.
Yeah, I might give them a go. The doors slam shut and the lift jerks upwards. Sonic can feel it swinging from side to side with each step of the Technobot and keeps his fingers crossed that its cable doesn't snap. Suddenly, the lift stops and its lights flicker and go out. In the darkness, Sonic can just hear the faint sound of the doors opening, but it's as dark outside as it is inside, and he can see nothing at all. Does he stay in the swaying lift, or take a chance and jump into whatever is outside?
God. I stay in the lift, I guess.
Okay. Sonic stands at the edge of the open doors, wondering if he's missed his only chance of survival. What if the lift cable breaks now? Would he still have time to leap out? Thunder crashes, and a flash of lightning shows Sonic what he would have jumped into. Thin air, empty space, and a sheer drop down to the Technobot's giant feet, pounding their steady way across the earth towards the Green Hill Zone. Sonic backs away, and the lift doors close. Machinery groans, and the compartment begins to move upward again. So you saved Sonic's life there.
He was still alive.
Oh yeah, that's right. Suddenly it comes to a jarring stop, tumbling Sonic to the floor. The doors open onto a huge room filled with bronze and silver robots, all working strange machines. There are enormous hollow wheels with 3 or 4 bronze robots running inside each one. The wheels are connected to huge generators, each one marked something different: right arm, left leg, and so on. On the far side of the room is a ladder heading upwards. None of the robots have noticed Sonic, giving him a moment to think. Does he launch himself across the room in an ultimate supersonic spin attack? Does he put a cartridge in the nearest silver robot? Or does he wait for the lift to start moving again? Also, I just realised
I have another renegade cartridge, right? Let's just do
Stick
that.
that in? Okay. 233. Turn to 244. The robot springs to attention, its eyes blazing with light. It spins on the spot, points at the largest machine in the room, and sets off at a run, knocking other robots out of the way like bowling pins. Some of the other robots begin to move towards the machine to protect it, but the rogue robot batters its way through and blows up. There's a burst of sound, light, and heat, and bits of metal shower across the room. All the bronze robots in the room move towards the wrecked machine and start repairing it, while the silver bots all advance towards Sonic, their arms outstretched to attack. Do you want Sonic to retreat into the lift, attack the robots, or use the lightning attractor that we got from Boombox?
I feel like we might use lightning attractor later, but let's just go for it. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Sonic's already dead. What's the worst?
True. Sonic presses the button on the lightning attractor. The strange machine hums and gets hot, but otherwise nothing happens. Does Sonic hold on to the device or throw it into the pack of robots?
Throw it, please. I feel like Sonic's gonna get just roasted if he holds on to it.
Sonic hurls the humming device across the room. Cross it off your vital statistics, it says. And the robots rush after it like puppies chasing a stick. A second later, there's a flash of light and a thunderous boom as a bolt of lightning explodes through one of the walls, hitting the attractor and exploding it, and everything around it. Every robot in the room is thrown back, smoke pouring from them. Some of them just lie there, but others get up and stagger a few steps before exploding, falling apart or disintegrating with a quiet "fut." Something hits Sonic on the head. Gold rings are falling from the ceiling. He can't tell where they're coming from, but he's glad they're here. He chases after them and manages to catch 8. Then he goes up the ladder on the far wall and climbs up it towards the top of the Technobot. Final showdown time. With egg features.
Oh, look at Sonic. He's going.
The ladder ends by an opening in the roof. Rain pours in through it, and Sonic can hear the wind howling. Still, he's a hedgehog with a job to do, so he climbs out onto the slippery metal surface. He's standing on top of the head of the Technobot. The view from here would be incredible if the sky wasn't filled with black clouds and rain. All he can see, in fact, is a large control panel set into the robot's enormous head with a joystick, pedals, banks of switches and buttons, and loads of flashing lights blinking on and off. The Technobot must be steering itself because Robotnik isn't at the controls. He's flying overhead in his battered Ego-matic. Robotnik's craft has a huge gun fixed underneath, the Zap Cannon. The lightning still flashes around the robot as it clanks its way towards the Green Hill Zone, and over the crash of thunder and the grinding of the metal, Sonic can hear the insane laughter of the Mad Professor as he swoops his tiny craft down towards the hedgehog to attack. Does Sonic stand and fight? Or does he run for the controls and try to steer the Technobot away from the Green Hill Zone? What say you?
I think try to steer him away.
Okay. Sonic dashes towards the Technobot's controls. Too late, he remembers the 2 important things his mother taught him as a small hedgehog. Never cast a clout before May is out, and never turn your back on an enemy. The
Oh.
end of the zap cannon barrel hits Sonic from behind, pushing him over the controls and off the edge of the Technobot's head. He falls and falls, turning end over end past the Technobot's chin, its mighty stomach, its knees, and finally its feet. Oh no, the foot! Sonic lands on the Technobot's left foot, making a deep hedgehog-shaped dent in it, and loses all his rings.
Well...
The book now wants us to basically redo that entire section, so let's fast forward and pretend that we did.
Yeah, that's...
So, if you take the option to stand and fight Robotnik, here is what happens. Sonic's beaten the Egg-O-Matic before, but never in such foul conditions. The metal under his feet is slippery with rain. He's tired, and Robotnik's machine is armed with a fearsome weapon. This is going to be one of the greatest battles of its life. Sonic knows that Robotnik's new, improved Egg-O-Matic takes 8 hits to destroy. To attack Robotnik, Sonic must roll on his speed to beat a 7. Oh boy.
Can we just pretend that I did
Okay,
that?
here's the thing. Basically, this just kind of puts you in a loop at this stage. Like if you miss the speed check, you have to do a quick wit check. If you fail that, you just die.
I should have put so many points in the good looks or coolness.
Yeah, we haven't used the good looks once, have we?
We have used coolness.
We've used coolness once.
Emerald, and that was it.
I think the good looks one you get to use on Sally in one of the conversation paths with her.
Oh my god.
Try and chat her up. So let's pretend we've hit the Egg-O-Matic 4 times, shall we? As per these instructions. Turn to 41.
You're using a game shark or whatever.
The Egg-O-Matic swoops out of range of Sonic's spin attacks. There's a whine of hydraulics just audible over the storm, and the zap cannon twists round to aim at him. After a moment, it locks onto Sonic, and the looped coils around the barrel begin to glow with energy. Sonic can leap onto the cannon and smash it before it can fire. He can try to dive out of the way, or he can stand in front of the Technobot's controls and jump away from the energy beam so Robotnik shoots his own robot.
The last one sounds cool. She's a 10, but she has low agility stats.
Sonic must roll on his agility to beat an 8.
Oh no. Yeah, well...
That's impossible. Let's see. Let's see what happens if we fail. Is that a game over? No? The zap cannon takes no prisoners. A blast of ravening energy streaks from its barrel, charring and burning everything it touches. Sonic tries to dive out of the way, but his shoes slip on the wet metal, and he looks up in horror as the energy beam hits him and turns him into toasted hedgehog. You have to roll on your speed to beat an 8, which is impossible with the stats you've given. I think it wants you to give speed a high score.
Oh my god.
So, let's pretend that we did that. So, if Sonic beats the Egg-O-Matic, turn to 258. Some of these 8s should be a 7, or it should be like, score the same as or beat it. Explosions throw the Egg-O-Matic across the sky, almost dislodging Robotnik and burning his mustache. The machine is badly damaged and smoke is pouring out of it as Sonic watches it drop out of sight, below the level of the giant robot's round platinum belly. Sonic must do something quickly. The Technobot has just crossed the border of the Green Hill Zone and is leaving huge square footprints all over his home. The hedgehog dashes over to the robot's controls and looks at them. There's a joystick and pedals, buttons, switches, lights and a bank of control cartridges held in place by a metal bar. Sonic also notices a small socket. He can try to steer the robot with the controls, examine the control panel closely, or try using the air taxi caller.
If the air taxi call is just a way off, it sounds like, right?
I think so.
That might be a funny, like, game over.
Okay.
Sonic just leaves.
Sonic presses the button on the device and it bleeps. After a few seconds, a silver air robot flies down and lands next to the control desk. Sonic can get on it, and if he doesn't, it flies off. Alternatively, he can use the Technobot's controls, or he can plug in a cable if he has one, which we don't, or he can wait and watch.
Didn't we pick up? Oh no, I picked up the controls, didn't I?
Yeah, the air taxi thingy.
Oh god. Let's just leave. I feel like that would be maybe a funny game over. We just fly away.
Sonic jumps onto the aerobot and it takes off into the sky, giving him an excellent view of the Technobot's path of destruction through the Green Hill Zone. It is really churning up the place badly, making a complete mess of it all. Nothing slows it down or gets in its way. It's unstoppable. It also moves faster than the aerobot flies and soon outdistances the flying machine and its hedgehog passenger. Sonic can only watch as it finishes pulverizing his home and sets off towards another zone to cause more havoc there. Whatever Sonic does next, it's not going to save the day. His adventure ends here and he's blown it.
Yep.
You are now on. You are now on -1 lives.
Oh god, don't put that in. No!
So do you want to try using the Technobot's controls, see if that does anything?
Sure.
Oh, hang on a second. Oh no.
What's wrong? Oh,
no, that's not good. Oh, that sucks. I can't believe they've done that. Right.
What?
183. I think they've locked you out here.
What?
Sonic yanks at the joystick and pedals the pedals. Nothing changes the direction or speed of the Platinum Robot. It plows straight on. Sonic thumps the buttons and switches in frustration, and a small screen flickers to life. Control desk disabled by programmer. Requires remote access, it reads. Sonic groans. Your only unused option then is to head to 240.
Okay.
Sonic produces his Game Gear. Well, he says, I've got the control device, but nothing to connect it with. He looks around the top of the robot, but there's nothing that would work. He slumps against the remains of the control panel and watches helplessly as the giant Platinum Robot tramples the Green Hill Zone into the brown flat zone. He did his best, but it looks like his best wasn't good enough to save his friends. Sonic's adventure ends here.
Jesus! So you're just supposed to pick up that specific item, else you just get screwed.
-2 lives.
No!
So okay, because the game is unwinnable if you don't have the item, let's see what happens if you have it.
Okay.
Okay, Sonic has a brainwave. He takes a cable, plugs one end into the socket on the control desk. It's a tight fit, but he pushes it hard until it slides in, and the other end into his Game Gear. It fits perfectly. He flashes you a smile and flicks the on switch. The screen lights up with the words, Platinum Robot Remote Control Initiated. Sonic lets out a loud Yahoo! And presses down on the control button. The robot swings right and then left in response. It works! He can steer it with no problem, but as he quickly learns, there's no control for stopping it. It just keeps on marching. Which way should Sonic steer the robot? Towards the edge of the highest cliff in the Green Hill Zone? Towards the deepest lake in the zone? Or through the thickest forest in the zone? Yeah, there's so many depressing endings in this book.
Yeah, I can't believe the Sonic imposter ending. That was depressing.
Grim!
Just
gives up on life.
Better that Fink is like run around. I'm just gonna lie here until I die from starvation. Like, what the hell? I guess to the cliff, maybe.
Okay.
Because it's like running through the rain. I don't think water's gonna do anything to it, right?
The giant robot turns until it's heading towards the cliff. The ground shakes, and Sonic can see rocks and boulders toppling off and rolling down to the bottom. Animals and birds flee from the path of the colossal construction as it approaches. One giant foot lands on the edge of the cliff. The other lifts into the air, hangs for a moment, and descends to land on nothing. The Technobot begins to overbalance, falling slowly at first and then faster and faster. Sonic is carried with it as the vast machine hurtles through the air, carried downwards by the one enemy that not even Robotnik could beat: gravity. The knees hit the ground first, and the impact breaks the machine into pieces while it's still falling. The enormous middle section lands next, bouncing back hundreds of meters into the air so that it's going up while the head section and Sonic are still coming down. Sonic hits with a thump that knocks all the wind out of him. The massive head lands nearby and shatters into a gazillion pieces that tinkle and crash and finally lie still. Sonic lies where he is. Everything is oddly quiet, apart from a strange whistling noise. It's growing louder. A huge shadow covers Sonic. He looks up to see the remains of the robot's stomach section fall out of the sky onto him, squashing him flat. So close, and yet so far. Sonic saved the zone and his friends, but he couldn't save himself. A very brave try. -3 lives.
Oh my god. You could have just called the air taxi before the thing walks.
Yeah, what an idiot. What a fucking idiot. So do we want to try taking it through the forest or the lake?
The lake. I don't think the forest. What would the forest do, right?
Do you want to try the forest or do you want to try the lake?
Let's try the forest just to see what happens.
Sonic stands as close to the edge of the Technobot's forehead as the cable will let him, and steers the giant machine towards the forest. The trees are tall and thick, with strong trunks and heavy branches, and they should slow the robot down. Sonic watches his friends scatter from the forest as the mountainous machine's footsteps warn them of its approach. The first enormous foot lands on the trees, snapping them like twigs. The next one does the same, like a man stamping on a flower bed. The trees are no match for Robotnik's dastardly device. Sonic's destroying the forest, not slowing the robot down at all. So Sonic now must change direction, and the only option left is to head towards the deepest lake in the zone.
Well, let's go.
Oh, we've got one final little picky.
Oh. Aww. He's so mischievous pulling that lever. It doesn't look like all his friends are about to die at all. It's like,
Oh, I forgot to show you the one on page 1. I do apologise. Here he is with his game gear.
Oh. Oh no, you did show that.
I did show them.
Sorry.
The Technobot responds to Sonic's controls and begins to lumber its massive way towards the lake. All Sonic's friends have heard the robot coming and have scattered, leaving him a clear path as the gigantic juggernaut pounds its way forward. One of the huge feet lands on the beach, sinking deep in the sand, and the next foot is in the water. The Technobot moves slower as it wades deeper into the lake, and Sonic can hear snapping, crackling and popping noises from below. The water covers the giant machine's knees, then reaches up towards its hips, and the Technobot stops. There's an explosion from somewhere underwater, followed by another one in the machine's chest, and it slowly starts to fall over. Does Sonic jump into the water below, or use the air taxi caller?
Use the air taxi, you're going to get electrocuted if you jump in the water. Actually.
Sonic pulls out the box and presses the button. An aerobot swoops down from the sky towards the falling Technobot, and Sonic half jumps, half falls onto its back as it flies past. He grabs the controls and pilots it away from the massive falling machine and up into the sky. The Technobot hits the water with an incredible splash. Huge waves race across the lake, breaking on the shore in sprays of surf. Sonic watches as the robot's platinum body shakes from a series of explosions, each explosion bigger than the last. At last, it sinks below the surface, and a final explosion blows a geyser of water and metal out of the water and high into the air, higher than Sonic on his aerobot. If Sonic had 50 rings, he could enter the bonus zone. If he doesn't, he lands the bot on the shore of the lake. And turn to page 300. We've got a cheeky little
has
Sonic.
no rings. Oh, look at him. Can I just know what happens if Sonic jumps into the water? Real quick.
Oh.
I'm curious.
I may have lost the page. Hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, there was a picture on it, so I should be able to find it pretty well. I hope.
It's not urgent, I was just curious, but he probably dies.
Where are you damn hedgehog?
Be nice to Sonic, he's been through a lot.
He's died more times than enough.
How many deaths? That's like... Hang on, that's like 6, 7 deaths.
7 because you earned an extra life.
Oh my god.
Where is this flipping... Oh, here we are. Right. If Sonic jumped into the water, here is what would have happened.
Okay.
Sonic takes a running jump from the top of the robot and dives out over the edge. He can't decide whether to hit the water spinning or diving. First he tries spinning, then he changes his mind and falls head first, then he tries spinning again. He has plenty of time to think about it because it's a very long fall indeed. Finally, the water rushes up at him. Sonic knows that falling from this height is going to hurt. Kawash! And it does. He loses all the rings he's holding, but doesn't lose a life.
Oh, okay.
Hey Sonic! It's Joe Sushi swimming out to meet him. Sonic gratefully climbs onto the walrus's back, and his friend carries him to the shore. So either way, you'd have got to the end section.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I
Sonic...
guess you just lose all the rings that you could have
Sure.
used for the bonus one.
Sonic's friends crowd around him, congratulating him on saving them and the zone. Everyone's there. Tails and all the friends he rescued from the traps and perils of Robotropolis, plus the ones that Robotnik hadn't captured, but who would have been trampled and squashed if he hadn't stopped the Technobot. A ray of sunlight breaks through the dark clouds. Sonic looks out over the lake and sees the Chaos Emerald floating up into the sky. He'd forgotten about that, but it's probably safest back in its orbital zone. He spots a speck in the sky. It's Robotnik in the remains of his Egg-O-Matic, still staggering through the air, belching smoke. It disappears over the horizon, and there's the faint sound of an explosion. Sonic laughs out loud, and then stops as he's struck by a sudden thought. Half an hour later, everyone in the Green Hill Zone is enjoying an enormous feast to celebrate Sonic's success. There's much singing, dancing, eating and merrymaking, but the seat of honour is empty. There's no sign of Sonic. No sign? From under a nearby tree comes a series of small electronic bleeps, crashes and explosions as Sonic the Hedgehog lies on the ground playing his Sega Game Gear. He's concentrating very hard. Finally, he gives a shout and waves the machine in the air. You can read the message on the screen. Congratulations, you have completed Botman. Come on, Sonic.
That's so cute. That's adorable.
Come on, Sonic, everyone's waiting for you, shouts Tails. All right, I'm coming, replies the Hedgehog. He switches off the Game Gear and gets up. Then he notices you watching him. No problem, pal, you did a great job, he says. Sonic smiles, gives you a thumbs up, and speeds off to join the celebration. The end.
That's cute.
Yeah. Your final score, no rings, -3 lives.
Well, would I be -4 because I didn't have any rings when he fell in the water? No, wait.
No, that didn't kill him.
Okay. Okay. Well,
How do you feel about that?
I thought it was going really well in the middle, and then it just...
It fell off at the end in a massive way, I've got to say.
Yeah, it just... Everything went wrong. I didn't pick up the 2 specific items you needed in that.
But overall, fun, enjoyable stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was good stuff.
The illustrations are so cute.
They're very cute. There's a lot of paths that we didn't do as well. So there's a lot. If you went back through this again, there's different routes you can take, different areas you can explore. So it's all good stuff.
That's really cool. I love those books. I used to read them as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
Not Sonic specifically, but
They should do like more Sonic ones now. I think that'd be cool.
yeah.
Like, I mean, we over the course of the next month or so, we'll be covering the rest of them on this channel, and maybe might drag you back in the call and get you to play another one.
Yeah, sure. I think I'm not gonna make the same mistake of screwing up the stats like this next time.
You never know. It says this mirrored Sonic's trajectory as a franchise. Actually says started strong and just fell off.
I don't know anything about Sonic, but that sounds about right. You know?
Well, I think you've done all right.
I'm glad. Only minus 3 lives.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's switch the old cameras there. So, do you want to stay in the call while I jump into the old video game? Or do you want to hop out? It's up to you.
I should probably get some work done, but I'll definitely stay like watching the stream.
Alrighty.
And I also don't want to get my ears blasted out there.
Oh, don't worry, the volume is getting turned down.
Okay, good. I don't know what it sounds like yet, but
it's not great.
Not
great at all.
Okay. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Thank you for joining us, Nana. It's been great. Oh, before you do hop out of the call, do you want to tell these lovely people where they can find you online?
No.
Okay.
No, I just have a Twitter. That's about it, you know.
Just at Nanadouken on Twitter, isn't it?
I do nothing.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing nothing. Some would say doing nothing is a good thing.
Oh, yeah, I guess. That was a lot of fun.
It was, thank you.
I'm sad it went all downhill, so...
Not to worry.
You jinxed it because you were like, oh, you're doing really good. You rescued all of his friends and stuff, and then it was just like...
You rescued his friends and then, like, just died horribly 7 times.
Yeah. That has to be a record.
But yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to hop out the call and start the game up now if you want to see that go.
I'll stay around and watch.
Sure.
Thanks for signing up.
Alrighty. Well, I will catch you again soon. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been lovely having you in.
See you later.
Bye.
Have fun.
Alright guys, now comes the fun part of the stream. And I say fun, I mean, well, it's going to be an interesting one. We're gonna hop into the game now. And today's game is a bit of a rarity. We're going to be playing Sonic Eraser, which was not released on a cartridge. This is a 1991 Mega Drive game. It was available on the Sega MegaNet service, I believe it was called, which was a Japan-only download system where you could download games to your Mega Drive through a modem. And this was Sonic's first foray into the world of puzzle games. And Sonic's not really had any kind of foray into the world of puzzle games, and maybe this is why. So I'm going to have the game volume turned down a little bit because the music is infamously terrible. So let's unpause this and see how we go. Alrighty. Now, you will of course note all the text is in Japanese here, and I cannot read Japanese, so... There are 2 game modes. We've got 1 player and 2 player. 1 player versus 2 player, which of course we don't have a second player in the room with me, so clearly that's not going to happen. Yeah, it was kind of the Japanese version of the Sega channel, Homer. Yeah, you are right. And we've got 1 player versus computer. Now 1 player and 2 player mode. I don't know why it's called that. It should be called something different, I'm sure. That's kind of a puzzle mode. So we'll hop into that. But I just want to show you the more famous mode of the game, shall we say? This is where... Oh my god, that's loud. This is where the famously terrible Sonic Eraser music comes from. If that's genuinely appalling, guys, I will turn it down further. In fact, I'm going to anyway, because that's awful. Alright, puzzle time. So it's your standard kind of columns-esque game. The shapes come down in this terribly unhelpful formation. Pressing the button cycles the shapes and you just have to match 2 of the same colour. Yeah, this music is genuinely appalling. Ow, balls. Oh, and occasionally you'll get one like that, which is no help whatsoever, of course. Oh, I'm making a hash of this. Oh, that was good. Yeah, get him. Made that fake Sonic all woozy there. Seems appropriate, actually. We just had the story about fake Sonics. Every other Sonic game figured out the music for this console. What happened here? I'd love to know. Total mess, this. Hey, I'm not doing too badly, though. Computer's struggling a bit. Oh, look at that. Excuse you. How rude. Oh god, I'm all woozy. When you get hit, it jiggles your pieces about. Oh, just gives me a 3-hit combo, sweet. And that is a victory for me. There's a vintage Genesis Mega Drive sound. Yeah, it kinda does. It's not a bad tune, it's just incredibly poorly, like, arranged. So these are the people we can blame for this. Bossa Nova Ois, it's your fault that it sounds like this. Crunchiness of the Mega Drive sound fonts, amateurly done. Yeah. We got a few other Sonic team names there down the side. Alright, fortunately, the other game mode, the music's a little bit nicer. So let's hop in on that. That tune we've just had there, well I say tune, that excuse for a tune, that's probably the more famous of the tracks from this game. Or infamous, perhaps. Oh, I just realised I should have changed my... Oh, where'd my Stream Manager go? Should have changed the thingy, shouldn't I? So I'm no longer just chatting. Just give me one moment, I'll fix that. Dashboard, that's the word I was after. Sonic the Hedgehog. There we go. Stream info updated. Marvellous. Will Twitch even have a Sonic Eraser option? Absolutely not. It doesn't have a Sonic option, Sonic Origins option, which is a bit weird. Maybe because it's new. Who knows? Right, little swig of the old drinky. Marvellous. Right. Mode select, round, normal, doubt, block. I want to turn that down again. Doesn't sound great. Right, let's try the... Oh my good god. Right. I'm pretty sure what we want is to... Oh no. We want to get the glowy ones to touch one another. Easier said than done. I managed to do a couple of these when I did a little test the other night, but oh, what did I do that for? What an imbecile. I've made an absolute hash of this, it must be said. Damn it. I think I've actually blown this. Oh, I'm not recovering for this one, ladies and gents, I've got to say. Oh. Oh, nice! There we go, that's got rid of 2 of them. Oh my god. Can I recover from this? I'm thinking not at all. What an incredibly stressful game mode. Oh, bollocks. I'm not going to be getting any kind of speedrunning scores for this anytime soon. Oh, wait. Oh, for goodness sake. The awkwardness of the shapes and admittedly the not especially intuitive controls are not helping here, I gotta say, guys. Oh god. Oh no. Oh god, it's speeding up now. Crap. Oh shite. I've just spotted the timer. Oh heck. Oh no. Rubbish. Speedrun record by virtue of being the only one willing to put up with playing it. Yeah, you're probably right. What's normal mode? Okay, that's just columns, basically, but not as good as columns. Like, imagine being Sega and being like, yeah, we've invented a really good puzzle game. Let's make a shite puzzle game. This is just going to be an endless mode, I'm guessing. Don't know about you guys, I'm getting tired of this music. It's very repetitive. It's hardly one of Howard Drossin's classic Sonic tracks now, is it? Oh, bloody hell, that was bad. Like, the sheer awkwardness of the shapes doesn't give you much chance to react to where you want to put them, you know? I swear I'm not being crap on purpose, it's just happening. Ah, shite. Oh god. Oh no. Bloody hell. 4 minutes 15 seconds is the full clear speedrun record. Wow. More dross than drossing, yeah, pretty much. People love columns, we must fix that. Okay, doubt mode. What the friggin' hell is doubt mode? What? That's such bullshit. It's just a mode where the game lies to you. Why would you put that in a game? Why would you do a matching colour blocks game where the blocks aren't the colours they say they are? It hasn't happened to me again, and I'm wondering if there's a... See, it did it again there with... That one turned into a white one. Which sadist invented this? Oh my god. This is what happens when Columns and Tetris have a one-night stand and Tetris gets knocked up. This is astonishing. Oh, God almighty. See, if half the blocks keep changing to ones that aren't the one you think they are, how are you meant to plan? You can't, can you? You just can't. It does seem that if you match any of them as you place them, they at least stay, which is, you know, fair enough. Except for that one there, where there were two of the same. What the fuck was that? I thought my computer had exploded. Oh. Poo. Oh, darn it. Come on, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Damn it. After a one-night stand, it's more like a venereal disease. It's not great, is it? JML Clyde, hello, what's up? I'll tell you what's up. Sonic Eraser is what's up. Alright, let's try block mode. I mean, surely they're all block mode. Oh god, okay, they're not falling. That's just going to make this incredibly difficult. Okay, they fall when you make a match. Okay, that's... Okay, alright, fair. A little bit of strategy involved then. Okay. That's not bad. Oh, why did I fucking do that? What an idiot. Oh, worked out. This one is possibly the best one then, because you can plan forward. Okay, I'm liking this. Alright. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, God. I am not clever. Ooh. Little combo there. Ooh. Look at that, we're making strings. This music will be the soundtrack to my nightmares. It's very strange music, isn't it? Fucking Jesus. Not what I'd call a great Sonic soundtrack, this one. And the thing is, like, the two-player mode that we've seen, that's all that Sonic appears in this game. He's only tangentially related to this entire thing. You know, it's a Sonic game in name only, really. And that little appearance in that one-game mode. I'm going cross-eyed now. Hey, I'm not doing too bad on this one, I gotta say. It's a decent little mode of play, this one. Of course, I've said that, I'm now like halfway up the screen. Oh god, we sped up. Oh shit. Oh hell. Oh balls, why did I do that? It's a Sonic tag, put a Sonic on it and hike the price, yeah. I don't know how much they charged for these downloads back in the day. Wow, that was a cool little combo there. I'm impressed with myself. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh shit, oh. Whoa. Oh, balls in mouth. Oh, damn it, why did I do that? Oh, well. I'm panicking now, in case you couldn't tell. Panicking and getting silly and sloppy. Which are two things you don't want to be. Fucking sound effect, I tell you. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh, balls. Oh, shite on toast. Oh, God. Flipping... Damn it. I suspect this one's about to come to an end. Yep. Do you know what? That was alright. That was a bit of fun, that one. I think that's all we're getting tonight, guys. I'd be interested to see how, you know, if I ever sort of practice the game, how far I could go in that sort of puzzle kind of mode. But I don't think that's happening without a fair little bit of practice that we're not getting in one evening, I'll say. But yeah, that's Sonic Eraser, and what an experience that was. And that brings us to the end of Sonic Month Day 3. Exciting stuff. And we're going to be leaping on into Week 2. Let's see what's on the old schedule. Got something... Ah, okay. We're going to be a little bit silly tomorrow, I think. Because we've got another obscurity, but this one's not going to drive us around the bend. This one's cute. You know, there's a nice little bit of Sonic fun. The game for tomorrow. Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed the game book, Gwen. That's good. Tomorrow, we've got another game, and we've got another little fun activity. The game is a Japanese-only arcade game, and I say arcade game. It was a little ride-on thing. You know when you go down to the supermarket and there's like a little figure of a vehicle and you can put in a coin and you know your kids ride on it and just have a jolly old time. They made a Sonic one, and it's Sonic riding around town as a little hedgehoggy police officer, and it's called what is the full name? I don't want to get this wrong. It's Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. So we're going to see if we can bring Robotnik to justice, and maybe get a 3-star rating, because I think you can score like between 1 and 3 based on how well you do. It's very, very short. It's not going to take us long to play through. Well, you're quite right, Gwen. So, ACAB, all cops are blue, and Sonic knows that very well. So, ASAB, all Sonics are blue. So we're going to play through that. That's only going to... It's going to be like 10-15 minutes, if that. And then we're going to do something a bit of fun. We're going to have a little bit of an art class between us. I'm going to put up on screen an old feature from one of the summer special issues of Sonic the Comic, which was put together by one of the artists, and it's a how to draw Sonic guide. So I'm going to try my level best to do a half-decent Sonic the Hedgehog picture, and you guys, I'm keen to see your Sonic pictures. Maybe you're going to follow the instructions well. Maybe you're going to ignore them entirely and create some monstrosities. So while we're doing some doodles, you can send them over, send a picture of them over to my Twitter at LTDangerous, and we'll see if we get some good pictures, or some funny pictures, or some silly pictures, or some pictures that are terribly wrong indeed. So yeah, get Shay to join in. You know, Shay's a slightly better Sonic artist than me. I think he might have the edge on me just a little bit. But yeah, it'd be lovely. Like it's not going to be serious. It's just going to be a nice, fun, relaxing stream. We're going to do some doodling. We're going to share it with the rest of the class, and all the nice ones we can put them up on the fridge. Got some D&D tomorrow night. We'll try and catch up on Twitch and YouTube and do some art. They're brilliant, Gwen. Love to see it. We can have a regular fan art section for the rest of Sonic Month if there's enough of that. It's not the only arty segment I've got planned. So just you wait for that. So yeah, go out and have a lovely time tomorrow night, and see you on the repeat viewing. Incidentally, if you head over to youtube.com/BuzzBomber, like the Sonic baddie, BuzzBomber, BuzzBomber. That's where I'm going to be uploading all the archives of these streams, so you will be able to catch them. I'm in the process of uploading the Sonic Origins streams that I did last week, and the streams we've done so far are going to be joining it. Follow me on Twitter at LTDangerous, and I'll put up info over the next couple of days worth of content and what we'll be getting up to. And in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for joining in. It's been lovely talking with you all once again. It's been fun playing with Nana, doing the old Choose Your Own Adventure book. We've got 5 more of those to come over the course of the month. How many more ways will we kill Sonic? Can we beat Nana's score of -3 lives? Who knows? Who's to say? But yeah, it's been a great time. Thank you. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you had fun doing it. It's been lovely once again, entertaining you all. Hopefully entertaining you all. I'm not trying to sound presumptuous there. But yeah, looking forward to more tomorrow night with something else that's a little bit silly and a little bit of a community event, so to speak. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will be back tomorrow evening UK time. Not going to firm time yet because I'm working. I'm doing Dolly these days. I'm working 9 till 5. But yeah, it'll be mid to late evening, I would have thought. So keep on watching the old Twitter, keep on watching your Twitch feeds, and I'll see you tomorrow. You guys take care. Thank you so much for joining. Love you lots. Bye bye.